Davey, how you doing?
How you doing, Richie boy? You alright?
Not bad, mate. Not bad. How's things today? What's been happening?
That's been alright, mate. Played tennis today. Chilled out. You got up to work?
Aye, work start to finish, madness, but just choking to finish for the weekend as usual. Did you
Right,
play
definitely.
where'd you play?
Queen's Park. Sam was doing today, no? With Wally.
Lee's bent racket.
No.
Get a new one.
Wally's got a separate racket from now, so
Any signs of improvement in his play?
not a chance.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Not a chance. He's
Hopefully
doing
he
a
doesn't listen
lesson.
to this. Is he?
Aye.
Paying
Well,
for it?
he says he's going to do a lesson. Aye, there's a guy doing there that does lessons. Wally's done a lesson with him.
Right. That's
And
interesting.
then I done a lesson with Wally with him.
A 2
And
years,
it
like
was,
a 2-on-1.
aye, mate, and it was like a fucking personal training fucking thing. Do you know how you like, if you imagine somebody's going to teach you how to play tennis, right? So Wally didn't tell me this because he knew the way I was going to react to it. So we go there, right? And the guy's like introducing her all that shit, asking how long you played tennis for. Right away, do you know how you got your court, right? So you've got your two lines, and you've got the squares that go in, and then the two lines at the other side.
Aye.
Right, so I've just took my racket out, just expected to walk to the other end of the tennis court while he's standing at one side. He knows what to expect, but I don't, right? And the guy's like, right, go start running for there. I've got a tracky tap on me. And I'm like, what's he talking about? And I was like, what the fuck's going on? The boy starts running. I'm like, I had to put my racket down, mate. And the guy's like, go, 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 go. And I was like, oh my fucking God. I had to start running up and down, running up and down, running up and down. He's like, right, do star jumps. I was like, what is going on? And he's like, right, you need how you side step and you move side to side all the way.
Aye.
One side to the other side. Then
Side hopping.
it was crisscrossing your legs all the way. And I was like so in my comfort zone, it was unreal because I didn't expect it. And I was like, well, after it, I was like, what the fuck was that all about? And he's like, I know you were going to react like that. I was like, cheers, you fucking prick. He really done it coming on. He was like, what the fuck's going on?
Aye.
Because you just expect somebody to go, right,
hold your
that's how
racket
you play
and
tennis.
exactly, aye.
Show me how you do this, show me how you do that. Did you want to learn how to serve? You do this.
He's got a point, to be honest with you, because tennis, you think about just the kind of ball play, whereas the footwork and jumping about is quite a lot of it. You need to have that fundamentally to be able to play it.
100%. But see, after about a minute, mate, I was absolutely sweating out of breath and everything.
Aye. Well, you run about and play it, and you probably do your panning, but even just that, because it's pretty much just probably a 5 to 10 minute sprint that you weren't prepared for, it just would knock your head in.
Aye, mate, it was. I wish, like, if you could have videoed that moment, that would have been a very fucking funny moment, because my face would have been an absolute picture.
Aye, that's one of the ones.
That was incredible.
The guy that's taking it's got one of the wee cameras in his glasses, and it's like set up for a TV show.
Mate, it could have been like that, mate, I swear to God. It was like
that's funny, but would you go back and do it again?
I'd probably take another lesson, but
was there
but
people
I'm fucking
there?
hot. Aye, like you've got your court, so you've got 5 courts, right? So you've got 3, which is on like on the higher bit, and then you've got 2 down below. But it's like it does get busy. But when we were doing that, I think there was only a couple of people of it. But he seems to do a lot down there, so everybody's used to him getting people.
I was going to say, like, you tend to find these things that people just put that whole thing aside and go for it, because at the end of the day, you know, people feel the kind of nerves walking into the gym and that, but there's really no need. If you're going to be trying to do something, then who really cares who's watching or doing whatever?
Exactly, mate. I'm fucking nervous doing this right now.
Are you?
And nobody's even listen to this. Fuck's sake. A wee bit.
Well, I think that's kind of natural, to be honest with you. It's like something new, something different, and because when you and I talk, it's just off the cuff. There's never really anything to it. So because this is, I know we're still not being formal, and we're just being normal. There's still something else, and you're aware. The awareness that we're recording a podcast is still there.
It's very strange, man. It is a very strange feeling.
But
100%.
We'll try it. We'll do what we do, and we'll see how it's taken. See if we get some people listening to it, and hopefully they can give us their opinion on it.
That'd be well good. That'd be well good.
So, in terms of the reason we're doing this, obviously it's because you and I have both been big into MMA and mainly UFC for the past 15 years, probably.
For a long time, right? Definitely.
And we've spoken about it a few times about doing a podcast, and there's a few other mates in the group that are interested as well, but they thought a podcast wasn't really for them, I don't think.
Nah, definitely not.
But for you and I I'd love to do this. I would love to sit and chat about it because I'd do this with anybody. Any day of the week, somebody brings up a coming up a UFC card or an event or a main event or a big fighter. I'm willing to sit and chat to them a while for ages about it, no matter who it is. So it makes sense for us to do this, and we can just chat about what's happening and get our own take on it.
100%.
Hopefully,
Definitely.
a funny wee Glaswegian spin, especially with the stuff that you came up with as well.
I will see how that goes today, man, because I'll be on edge today, so there might be a lot of stupid shit coming out my mouth. So,
well, that's fine. Don't mute that, because that's what makes you who you are, and that makes you your character. So that's what we
I'll
need.
try, man. I'll try.
I know we've kind of both looked at the card this week and spoke about it vaguely, but at the same time tried to not go over too much because we wanted to keep a lot of stuff to speak about today when recording. Any particular parts you want to start off with, or you want to just talk about the card, the build up to it, anything like that, or you want to just crack right into the fights one by one?
So the way I've kind of got it laid out is I've got the main card, obviously starting with the first fight on the card rather than flow bottom up rather than top down. So
right.
I'm good just to roll with that, and then we can maybe stick anything on top of it if you want to go extra. I know there's another fight you want to bring up.
Aye. No, that's
maybe
fine.
Chuck that in at the end.
Aye, whatever, that's
sound?
fine.
All
That
right.
sounds good to me. Sounds like a good format.
Aye,
before we get into it, you've watched the press conference.
Aye.
What did you make it?
It was good. It was good in terms of you didn't see a lot of Nate Diaz making an arse himself.
I was very.
He was just chilling, smoking a joint.
Aye.
Do you see?
Very cool.
Aye, it's like, see when he started that, right? So obviously he's smoking it basically under the table, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And the cap, like when he was doing it, see the main camera during the presser moved away to the crowd, right? Obviously, no wanting that to be seen, as you can expect. And then they go and upload an embedded and stick him on the fucking thumbnail, smoking a joint, and then it's like full front and centre the embedded smoking a joint.
Aye.
I think that was a wee save for embedded to get more clicks on it.
Aye, probably, because the kind of opinion globally these days on smoking weed, it's fairly open, to be honest with you, and it's good because people don't really bother about it these days. And Nate Diaz doesn't really try hard to be cool; he just is what he is. And there's a lot of, I know he's the third main fight in this, but at the same time, there's a lot of people buying into it just because of the fact that he's featured on it.
Aye, 100%. He always brings the crowd.
He's going to be the highest paid fighter here, win or lose, to be honest with you.
Aye, that's crazy, isn't it?
It is what it is. He built his name and
like, so, like you think he's getting paid more than Adesanya?
Aye, I would say so.
You think so, aye?
Yeah, I'd say so.
You would,
but we'll
you
see.
really think so though, would you? Because he went up. He's
got
the chance at the double title, and usually you only get the chance of being a double champ is kind of when you're in Dana's favour, isn't it?
That's it. When you've got that wow factor, X factor, something different. People
and you usually get paid a wee bit more.
Aye. I mean, don't get me wrong. He's not as if he's not getting paid much. Don't doubt that. He's getting paid an absolute fortune. No doubt about it. Like you said, people that get the shot at a dub, they're normally people who are like excelling. And although he's been championship material for a while, he's held the title, but at the same time, he's no in your GSP's John Jones type thing. He's no near that yet, and that's originally for you and I watching this. There was only ever like two people that ever held two titles in different weight divisions, and that was BJ Penn and Randy Couture. And it was a pure once-off. This was never to be expected, and nobody really ever done that, and you never seen anybody getting the shot to do this. It was once in a lifetime type thing.
Mm-hmm.
And but nowadays it's just anybody who's in the spotlight and holding a title and remotely looking dangerous or on a streak, they'll jump at the opportunity to make some money or promote something. And it's paid off, to be honest with you, because I remember when we were watching this back in the day, I was thinking to myself, I wonder if we'll ever see. I genuinely remember so clearly thinking this to myself. I wonder in our lifetime of watching this sport, will we ever see a UFC champion holding two belts, two different weight divisions at the same time? And Conor McGregor was the first person to do it.
He was the first, but he got stripped, didn't he? Pretty much straight away.
He did, aye.
The only person who's done it consecutively is that Amanda that's only done it consecutively?
Aye. So Amanda and what do you call him? Triple C.
Call me Triple C. Did he go up and down? He went up and then went down, didn't he?
He went up, so he was doing the weight 125 fought for the title, lost it. I think that was 2013.
Mhm.
I think he moved up for 2 fights or something like that, and then he came back down, won the title eventually, and then TJ came down, tried to take the belt off him, lost, and then he moved up the way when TJ got stripped, fought for a vacant title and took it, and then
But then did they go back down again? I
no,
can't
he never went
remember.
back to 125. No,
Right.
he released the title there.
Aye, so the only person that must have done that is it's Amanda, because Comey gave up the light heavyweight title, didn't he?
Well, that's it. You need to relinquish one because it's not really possible to defend the two at the same time. But in her case, in the weight classes, there's not a.
Aye, there's no day
Aye,
fight,
there's
so
not
I
a lot
think
of
she'd
people
kind of
knocking
got
the
it
door.
easy.
Exactly, aye.
Aye,
But
there's
anyway,
no
it's
day fight for
interesting.
hers.
It's
Yeah,
interesting how the sport's
100%.
changed to this day, isn't it? But and the amount of money and the amount of like eyes on, and I've said it to you a million times directly, but I'm not the biggest fan of Conor McGregor, but I respect what he's done for the sport, and because people who fight these athletes who've been trying to get into UFC and the bigger leagues for a long time now, they tend to earn a lot more money than they would have before. A lot of the time,
Aye,
and it's kind of he's sparked that off the way I see it.
aye, like 100%. He must have made them so much money. That's unfucking believable. How much money he must have made them.
Aye, the whole red pantanite thing, that's an actual thing.
Aye,
No doubt.
100%, man. 100%. They must be loving it when you get a fucking fight with Conor McGregor.
Aye.
Corey must be absolutely buzzed, especially beating him. Then you've kind of got something else that you can bargain for.
Aye.
Then he was saying a lot of different people came in and wanting him to do films and all that shit just because you beat one guy in a fight. You know what I mean? You beat him in a fight, and everybody wants to be a fucking pal. And then if he goes and fucking loses, then nobody want to be his pal.
Mm.
What
I
a
can't
fucking
remember
world,
I can't mind the exact details, right? But listen to this one. We keep going off topic here, but I suppose that's what it is. Just to have a chit chat anyway,
That's a
isn't it?
fucking rabble, isn't it?
Aye. Bisping obviously won the title 2016 or 17. Can't remember what it was.
Aye.
I think it was 2016. He beat Rockhold, so he had the belt. It was 2016.
That was nasty.
It was a champ, and he get invited. He never disclosed what it was or who it was, but he get invited to play a massive part in a film, Hollywood film. He'd be the main star. They were excited to work with him, blah blah blah, and get him doing that. And then GSP choked him out, and then they just stopped talking to him when he replied to his phone calls or text messages because he wasn't the champ.
Aye, that's absolutely horrendous, isn't it? That is absolutely shocking, man. But that's just the way the world works, man. If you're on fire, then everybody wants to talk to you, but as soon as that fire goes out, just nobody is fucking interested, man. Like, do you know one of the things that irritates the fucking shit out of me, right? It happened with Celtic, right? So, you remember Brendan Rodgers at Celtic, right? He obviously came in, fucking smashed the first season. Then he's got a biography out. You're like, mate, you're, 40 odds? Mate, it may have been 50, right? So that's, you're kind of, just over halfway through your life, depending on how long you fucking last.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like striking when the iron's hot. Like,
aye,
let's sell this fucking autobiography or whatever fucking bullshit it was. Make money off it. And then see, when he left, people were like burning it on Twitter, don't it?
Aye. I mean, that's one thing I've never been interested in. You know, that I don't like football and I don't really pay attention to it. But
Aye.
see the way that Rangers and Celtic fans are, because it's so close to home. See when something happens, like a player leaves or somebody leaves, it's literally unbelievable the reaction people have to it. Like people, like you're saying, burning books and that, and saying, "Oh, I hope he gets shot" and all that kind of stuff. It's mental. It's absolutely mental.
Celtic must have made an absolute packet after the autobiographies, and then every cunt just chipped them out.
Aye, but like you're saying, it's mental because you've got people. I could probably name a few if I looked into it, right? But I've sat and joked before with Sarah that there's people who have like left daft shows like Big Brother, right? And they're like 28 years old and they're promoting an autobiography. It's like you haven't even lived a fraction of your life yet. These people could just be starting out. If you've come out of Big Brother, right? Think about 10 years ahead of you and the exposure you'll have had to everything in that 10-year span. If you are big enough to make it that way, then you could do an autobiography like 10, 20 years down the line and speak about everything you went through then.
Aye,
I'm talking about strike when iron's hot, make the money. But then down the line, nobody's going. Why would you listen to somebody who's already released something like that unless something else happens post? They know this.
Aye,
it's just mental.
See the people that, like, if you remember, like all the programs back in the day, all the reality programs back in the day, it was actually people just wanting to go on it for the experience and just some, like, I don't know, like there wasn't like any intention of getting famous off it. But there's people out there that like if you fucking get a six pack, you've got big lips and a fucking big massive set of tits. You just go and get a fucking agent, and then what they do is they go, right, we'll try and find you a spot on the telly.
Mhm.
And then they get them a spot on the telly to try and get fucking famous. It's like, what? That's just not how it works. You know what I mean? You're supposed to just apply for these things. Then if you get over it, it's just supposed to be like a normal person. You know what I mean? It's not supposed to be somebody wanting to get fucking famous.
Aye.
It's fucking crazy, man. But this is the Instagram world we live in now, isn't it?
That's exactly it. It's mental. It's like Sarah watches the Love Island show, and I've watched bits and pieces of it here because I can't help myself when it's on. It's like it's interesting to me. But that's literally it. I mean, you can hear it in their voices, the way that they speak, and what happens after it. That's literally like you or I like landing a job as a CEO and getting like 200 grand a year. They've made it as soon as they're in that house. That's they've made it. Because then they go out and start doing the teeth whitening and this and that, and then they're working with these clothing companies, and it's and there's just, you can imagine just infinite streams of money coming in just because they've been in that show, and it's got so much exposure to everything.
I mean, it's see as soon as you've got fucking any sort of following Instagram, companies will just fucking use you to sell their shit.
Aye,
100%. And I wouldn't say I was fucking jealous of them, but it's if you make a lot of money doing that and you don't really need to put much effort in. You can pay somebody with fucking £500 to touch your fucking 40 up in any way you want, and you make fucking 20 grand off it, man. Like, you'd be fucking stupid not to do it, you know what I mean?
of course. I mean, if you were born or blessed with a specific set of, I don't know, muscles, or looked a certain way, or you just had that factor, aye, and see, at the end of the day, like, you could be working away and you've been to uni and you're working away at a career and you're working hard, and then somebody sends you an email going, you ever fancy looking into one of these shows? We think you look good, we think you're a good fit for it, why don't you come in and have a meeting with us? And you've literally been preparing yourself to put a power of work in to make a successful career, and then just because you look a certain way, you could literally make more money than you've ever imagined.
It's absolutely fucking nuts. It really is.
A fair play to people doing that, in all honesty, man. If you're going to make a living, make an absolute killing, then go for it.
Mate, do you know one of the things that fucking drives me up the walls? Do you ever sit on fucking YouTube, right, and you're scrolling through like your recommendations, and then you get these fucking short videos? Listen to me, I sound like an old fucking dad, but listen. Do you know you get the bit like this fucking shorts, and you go left and right on them? You know what I'm talking about?
I think so. Right,
and it's like fucking mad cheery Americans, like. I'm fucking watching one, right, and this cunt cut a bar of soap into 3/4. I'd mate, this is fucking random as fuck. Cut the bar of soap into 4 bits, stuck it in the microwave for a minute, all came out puffy, right? And then there's this fucking cunt that fucking copies everything somebody does and goes, I want to see if this actually works. He's got the fuck, mate, I swear to God, if you could fucking see him in real life, he'd probably not come out, right? So he copies everything people does, and then see when it happens, it's a pure overreaction, over the top, pure, oh my God. It's like, shut the fuck up, it's the most fakest shit I've ever seen in my fucking life. Plus, people will fucking sit and watch that shit all day. Even I fucking watch it and I hate it.
You know what I mean? I think I know exactly what you're talking about, because I've watched a guy, I can't even remember what it was. It was something like you seen these machines you get before, and it's supposed to be like a chip cutter for totties or sweet totties. You're supposed to put a potato into these machines, right? And you lean on this leverage arm, and it pushes it through like a sharpened grate, and it's supposed to make square chips out of it. But it just bend and break, and I'm pretty sure I watched him doing one of them, and it just burst. And he cut himself. I'm pretty sure he cut his fingers.
He cut his fucking finger right off, man. Aye, man. Freaking YouTube is fucking... It's actually fucking nuts, mate. But, mate. And I'll hang it on, I need to fucking say this. These people that make these videos like, oh, I swapped... Like, see, do you know how you've got browsing that kind of shows you all the popular shit in your country, pretty much? Mm-hmm. And it's always like mad lassies doing their makeup and all that. It's like fucking... I swapped my makeup routine with my friend, and I've got 1 million views. It's like, excuse me? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? How can you have 1 million views in that? Oh, I swapped my diet with my boyfriend. Like, oh, in quality? Who gives a fuck? There's people actually out there wanting to watch that shit.
Mate, Sarah watches that. The diet swap one. She talks to me all the time about these things.
I don't get it, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and judge other people, because I watch some weird things on YouTube. YouTube's good for me because I just like to go on a wee tangent and... Like,
you like to watch some mad shit.
You go, this video, and then recommended this video. And there's been times I'm sitting, I think I told you about this one a while ago, it must have been about 2 years ago. I was lying in bed, right, and it was about 3 in the morning, and said I was sleeping, and I was just flicking through YouTube, and I swear to God, I must have spent 45 maybe 50 minutes, just engrossed at this guy with an alligator skull, and he was cleaning the flesh off it with a pressure washer, and then he bleached the skull.
You fucking serious?
Aye,
The fuck you didn't watching that?
He was making like a. Now sometimes you see people when they've got like the stag skulls like in their was and stuff, the bones.
Aye.
It's just something like that he was doing, but it was a full process. And I honestly don't. What am I doing? I'm sitting 50 minutes watching this thing that I'm never ever going to watch again.
No, that's very true. Well, see, this morning I got fucking scrolling through usual shit. Wake up in the morning, check your phone, check all the news, see if you've missed anything where you've slept for fucking 6 hours. So I went on to YouTube as usual, scrolling through, and it was like what do you call it? A video for tying shoelaces, 24 different ways, mate. I watched the full lot, and I actually liked the video because I wanted to do it one way.
So
I was like, that was quality, so I'm gonna have a shot of doing that on a pair of sannies.
You're going to copy one of the ways you seen it, aye?
Aye, because one of them was absolutely minted, man. There was 2 ways that were minted. There's one, like, you can thread it through the middle, so each, like, so you've got your, do you know how you the standard way, you just go one through, and you just go opposite sides all the way up? But this, basically, what you done was, each lace goes up the same way all the time, but there's, like, it meets in the middle, and it looks class, man.
I like that.
It good on a pair of...
Aye, it depends on the shoe, doesn't it?
Like a running shoe or any shoe like that. I'm going to do it with my fucking bright ass green tennis shoes.
Now you need to show me it.
I mean, it was actually class, man. But some of them were pure feminine looking, man. I was like, I'm not doing that or that. Then there was a cool one, and where the fuck? I need to show you. I don't know how to explain it. It's like on the outside of it, the first 2 holes had like the same lace in it, and then they all kind of fold up they all get kind of pushed up in a certain direction. It looked class, man. It was well minted.
You need to send me that because I quite like stuff like that as well. Like
that was well good. After me flagging everything else about there, I was watching some cunt.
Everybody's got something, mate. Everybody has something. I promise you. You might not even realise it, but the big one for me is the unboxing stuff. I could watch people unboxing anything. Hair dryers and that. I don't even get any hair.
I'm boxing a hair dryer, man. That's incredible. I get it, but like if it's a phone you want to look at, or if it's like a part for a computer or a keyboard or a mouse or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But your unboxing videos are insane.
It's a thing though, mate. It's a thing because you see if you're like you buy these higher end things. You buy these higher end computer parts, like you're saying, or something else, or a bit of technology, and there's so much goes into the actual boxing and the setup and the way you open it. That aware that people get something for doing that these days.
You don't want to see the way I open boxes, man.
No, I definitely don't. I've seen the way you open Canada juice and other things. So
have you seen the boxes that I've got like the mad clear circle sellotape? They're my fucking mate.
What, these things.
No, they'll leave. Mate, you need to sit and pick at them for ages.
I fully sealed that.
You get 3 options, right? You've got the option of sitting picking it for ages, and hopefully you get it off in full shot. You don't rip strands off. 2, you need to get a blade, and sometimes you can't get the blade under the tap to fucking cut it.
Aye.
So I've just fucking ripped the tap right off a boxes, cause it.
Right. See, that's just annoying. Right, you've just wound me right up by saying that.
No, mate, because it's like you want to open it like a pair of headphones, so you're right, cool, want these opened, and then you fucking try to pull it, and you're like, this fucking thing, and you go, fuck it, boom, rip the bolt, something. Fuck it.
All you need to do is just have a wee bit of patience. That's all you need to do.
Nah, man, they're the worst things ever invented. They think just put a normal bit of sellotape on it, you know what I mean?
Aye.
Sometimes you can't even fucking see them.
Aye. Well,
and then,
to be honest with
the worst thing, there you go.
No, you go first.
Like, and the worst thing about, see if you want to keep the bolts good, and then you take it off, and it fucking rips the bolts anyway. That is extra annoying, that. Like, it pure rips and then you're pure ripped up the back of it, and all you see is cardboard, and you're like, why did I not just fucking rip it apart?
Aye. I get what you mean, but at the same time, it still really stressed me out, you saying that.
It's fucking brutal, man. It really is fucking brutal.
Alright.
Just fucking put it together with Blue Tack.
I think Apple have got the money. Would you think about them? You know, you bought a phone the other day, so you remember how you opened it. Let's get the pull tab, but.
Well, mine's is a refurbished, so I'm a jakey bastard. So it came in a cardboard box, mate. So I'm right with that, and I just flipped up.
So I'll just explain it to you, right? So you just picture like a new iPhone box, right? So the new one, they come without the plug. You know that the wall adapter, it's just a cable. So
they don't give you a cable, or not? Did they give you a cable?
Just a cable, no plug. That's it. But the box obviously is so much slimmer because there's no plug in it. but it's got the
Aye.
side of it. There's like a wee pull tab that sticks up, and you just lift it, and it literally takes all the plastic right off in the winner.
I think they know how to do it, man. Apple know how to do everything.
Aye.
Like, I think they've got the ones where I'm pretty sure I've seen it on the boxes and stuff. It's like you just rip it. There's like a wee rip bit, a wee tear bit. You just tear it and then it opens. I'm pretty sure. And then, I'm pretty sure. I could be absolutely wrong, but I wanted the iPhone 12, but I ended up just going with the SE. Fuck it, you know.
Well, I think you've done the right thing, to be honest with you. The amount of money you pay for them is madness, and at the end of the day, I'm paying for a phone that I'm probably not going to use like 40%, 50% of what I can.
You've got that Instagram phone, ain't you?
Instagram phone.
Instagram! Taking pictures of your arse cheeks.
You want to catch me with a phone with 3 cameras in the back, mate? You daft?
Have you seen these? Have you seen the mad lenses you can buy for your phones?
Aye, I've seen a few. It's like
ND
filters and CPLs and it. Aye.
Like the wee camera fucking lenses and it. I don't know how it worked with the 3 cameras, but
I think it clips over the full camera module when you can. It's like better zoom, and there's things like an ND filter, so it's neutral density. So without getting into too much detail,
you flipping that out, for fuck's sake.
See, because I've been flying this drone, I've been looking into like cameras and the technology and that. So, because of the technology, the glass that covers the camera is just obviously to protect the lens. But if there's a lot of sunlight getting into it, basically you've got settings, right? So you get shutter speed.
Aye. I know about shutter speed.
You know shutter speed,
get like mad fucking lights and that in it.
Aye, so you can change it about depending if it's video or images. Shutter speed, you can do different things with it, right? But with video, your frame rate, your shutter speed should be double your frame rate, right? So say I'm filming at 30 frames a second in 4K, then my shutter speed would be 1/60. But with the drone camera, because it's not the best of cameras, because it's so small and it's so bright, that's literally just white. There's so much noise, you can't see anything when it's set to that. So you put this wee filter, it just clips over the front of it, and it's just dark. It's a bit of darker glass. It looks like it's really dark, like you wouldn't be able to see through it. But once it's clipped in a drone, it doesn't make much difference. And then you can bring it to the 1/60. And then when you're shooting video, it looks like it's cinematic. It's like motion blur. There's no, like if your frame rate's high, it looks a wee bit jerky. And this just looks dead. It looks nice, and the colours are a wee bit better and stuff. So there's a random fact for you.
It gives you like that fucking like film feel. Like obviously you can like look at something and it just looks normal, but then you can put like it's just like a filter in it at the end of the day. And then it gives you sort of like it's like you're recording something like a TV program or whatever, or a film or something. You know? I think I know what you're talking about.
Aye, it's exactly what you're saying.
I'm on the right path.
It's to get less light in, so you can change your settings to make it look more like adapted to cinema. It looks better in the human eye. It's hard to explain. I can show you.
Can you upgrade it, or do you need to buy a new drone?
To be honest with you, you probably end up using these ND filters for any drone, if I'm being honest. But the dearer ones they offer have obviously got a much better camera on it. But I think there's certain ones. It's the company I got it for is DJI, one of the bigger ones. And I know that some of the more expensive drones, when you're looking at $1,000 and over, they come with a set of ND filters. I had to pay for mine to a third party company. But the bigger ones come with their own set because they're obviously used for cinema, like I'm saying, for professional. But it's
that must have your changed films, drones.
Aye, definitely did. Because there's so many times you'll be sitting watching a movie and I'll be like, "Tell drone, look at that drone shot!" Constantly, man.
Probably might pop you out, man.
I'll put it this way, right? See, anytime you're watching a film that's been made in the last like 20 years, maybe 15, 20 years. I don't know if I wouldn't say maybe back as far as 20, but 10 years, right? We'll say anything that you go naturally think it's been shot for a helicopter, it's just a drone.
Aye, man, it would just be so much time saved and money saved in a fucking drone, wouldn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck, imagine having to pay for a helicopter all day to fucking fly about and record shit.
And get a nice steady image. So, have you heard of a gimbal before?
No, I thought you were going to say something about a gimp there for a second.
So a gimbal's like a piece of equipment that stabilises a camera. So, say you've got like you'll see these people who are like YouTubers and vloggers, and they'll have a camera in like a stand that they'll be holding with a hand.
Aye.
See, if I was to move left and right dead fast, and I was filming with my phone, you would notice that, like herky-jerky material.
Aye.
But if you've got a gimbal, it starts to stabilise softly in either direction as soon as it feels movement. So it looks as if I'm not really moving that much.
You've seen that things, like, when people are running and shit, they
Aye.
must have like the camera attached to like their chest or something like that.
Aye.
And then they've got like the outlet staring at the face, and you can see everything in the background moving, but no them, which is quite
that's
good.
that's a weird shot, that, isn't it? It's like a zoom thing.
Aye.
But anyway, we
Aye, that's
went up your
crazy.
tangent now.
Aye, 100%, man.
Oh. Right, you
Right, we're
want to
getting
get
back
into
to
this card?
UFC.
Aye, let's do it. The main
Let's
reason we're
crack
doing
on.
this is to speak about the UFC and the upcoming card this week. So, I know you've got some stuff prepared in terms of like what you've written down for the card. If you want to kind of take stage and take over with this bit.
Aye, well, I probably went a wee bit too far, but let's see what's
Let's
going
do
on,
it.
man. Right, so first fight that I've got on here, I'm assuming you've done it the exact same way as me. I believe this guy's called Jamal Hill, because I don't know any other way how you can say that. I'm pretty sure I heard somebody saying Jamal. I was like, is that guy's name Jamal? I was like, I can't even say that. Jemiah Hill? I was like, that can't be. So I had to look into that. Versus Paul Craig. So obviously Paul Craig coming from Scotland. I don't know if you'll be supporting him this time, Richie.
To be honest with you, at first,
You better be.
the hype was annoying me because there was so many people going, oh, and in my opinion, at first he was pretty good, but there was so many holes that I could see.
Aye.
Obviously, I'm going to support him because he's a countryman, and I just wanted him to do better. But I could see there were so many things there's so many gaps, and if you're fighting at that weight class, it doesn't really take that much of a hard shot to end a fight. And I think
only heavy now.
it was a Tyson Pedro finished him. That was his second or third fight in the UFC. But anyway, I do like him. I'm a fan. I'm kind of got behind him and definitely supporting him. What about yourself?
Shit. Aye, man, I can't wait. Like literally, I'm trying to remember the first fight that I can remember. Like watching him, I'm pretty sure I watched him before, but like one that sticks out to me, I remember it was in the living room. I was sitting on the edge of the chair, right, waiting for. I don't know who was coming to pick me up, and I was like, I want to watch this fight, but somebody coming to pick me up at the same time, and it was is it Ankalaev he fought?
Aye, Magomed Ankalaev.
That's the one, aye. And it was, I think it was pretty close, and then that Ankalaev started taking over. And then it was at the end, it was like 5 seconds towards the end of the third round. So I made a note, it's like, so he won his first fight in UFC, lost his next 2. And then the fourth fight was against Ankalaev. So if he lost that fight, he'd probably cut.
Mm-hmm.
Coming from Scotland, you've not got a big name, not got a big following. I'm surprised he never got cut after 2, but he got the third fight and managed to take him out in 5 seconds to go with a triangle, which was, because I thought he was beat. I was like kind of a bit raging. I thought, this is a bit shit. And then he done that and it was fucking hype as fuck, man. I was like, I like this shit.
The aim legs, he's dangerous off his back legs because I don't know how many ones have came by triangle, but there's a fair few. I know he's got like 12 submission victories. I don't know how many of them are via triangle.
He's got like, so basically how I wrote it down was I took the full record, but I just minus basically everything for the UFC. So within the UFC, he's got 6 wins, 4 losses, 1 draw, and he's got 5 wins by submission and then 1 by TKO. And then the 4 losses that he's caught has came through UFC, and it's been 3 KO or TKO and 1 submission.
Aye, I remember seeing that myself. That every loss he's had has been a stoppage.
Aye. And then mind I was telling you, I've got a wee bit of trivia for you, and you're like, I was wondering what that is. So this is it right here, right? So he's never, like, Paul Craig has never won or lost by decision. So every fight he's been in, bar one, has had a stoppage in it, and the only one that was a stoppage was the draw against Shogun.
Aye, that's interesting. So every single fight bar that is.
He's never had a decision.
Aye.
What the fuck? That's crazy, isn't it?
That's crazy. It's an exciting division. When people are on their game anyway, I think a lot of people buy into it because, like I was saying a minute ago, is somebody who's skilled can be devastating with strikes, and then you've got good grapplers as well.
I went back. You go.
On you go. Take over.
I went back and watched the Ankalaev fight just to get that feeling again of watching it, and then watched the latest Shogun fight. He does look as if his striking is a lot better. He's always, I think the main thing that he always kind of went to and what he probably learned first was jiu-jitsu, I'm pretty sure.
Aye.
That's been the majority of his game plan. His takedowns, but aren't the best. He's not really doesn't come out very strong in the takedown game, but I don't know. He just seems to have. He seems to be on his back, and then he seems to get a submission. So.
Aye. I think he's in a good spot in terms of his kind of growth. Like you said, when I was saying about the kind of stuff that annoyed me in his first few fights in the UFC was
Right.
see when somebody pressured him, it was backward movement and there was literally no cutting angles. His head was straight up in midair and it was easy to catch him. And that's
Aye.
where he kept getting caught all the time. But if you watch his most recent fights, especially the last fight against Shogun, I thought he looked complete. To be honest with you, movement was good. Movement was good. Mixing up kicks pretty well. Takedowns were decent as well. And there was a lot of time he was throwing some strikes, and he was willing to go on his back, end up on his back because
I
how
think he's
confident
scared
he
to
was
go on
in
his
the
back.
game. Oh, definitely, isn't he?
Aye.
Because there was one point there was a kind of I don't remember how it ended up, but there was some sort of scramble. He pulled Shogun down. He was attacking, looking for an arm, I think, and then he just swept him over without even a shot. There was no effort in it at all. He just pulled him over, leverage right over to the other side. Butterfly guard, I think it was single side.
Aye, and then fucking Shogun stuck his finger out his ass.
Aye, it's oil check.
That's incredible, man.
But
That's actually incredible.
what do you make Jamal Hill? Have you watched much of his stuff? I know we're kind of not hugging Paul Craig here, but
Aye, well, I'll do that all day, man. But I watched his latest fight against OSP.
Right, what do you make of that?
He did look good. I don't I remember like OSP coming into things, like coming into the UFC and that. But I've not heard his name in a couple of years, so I don't really know.
Aye.
I don't think he's as hyped as people were before on him, were they? I don't believe so. I think he had an injury, did I know? He didn't have a big injury, a back injury or something, I think
so. I think he's been plagued by injuries for a while, but it seems to be like ever since the fight with John Jones that he had a few years ago.
Aye.
Which was John's first fight after like 2 or 3 years off. That was an alright fight. It wasn't one-sided. Well, John won it, but there was moments where OSP was kind of shining.
Aye.
He was always a decent name, a good contender, but I think he's even moved to I think his fight before the Jamal Hill fight was at heavyweight.
I think no way.
I'm sure he fought at heavyweight, aye. And then he came back doing his. But that fight was an interesting one, I thought, because obviously it was Southpaw versus Southpaw. OSP changing a lot, throwing heavy leg kicks up the middle, but he was constantly in the back foot, and Jamal Hill could pressure him constantly into the cage, but he just couldn't seem to land on him for a while.
Aye, the combinations that were coming away for Hill were insane.
Aye, he's got good hands. He's got that. He's got the.
And he was moving in and out, and then he was just fucking. He was basically just fucking having his way with him, pretty much. From what I remember, the kicks for OSP were good, but they didn't seem to deter him very much, did it? Really?
No. I mean, I remember thinking watching that fight. I was thinking to myself, the pressure was coming for Hill because I think he was hiding well that the leg kicks were doing something to him. But OSP wasn't. It's as if he didn't coin on to the fact that if he was standing in Southpaw and he could throw that kick, he wasn't really checking it. It was landing every time, and he could have continued doing that. But he maybe landed one too many, and Hill just put the pressure on, and that's when the kind of beginning of the end started. To be honest with you.
Aye, 100%. So see what I done as well, right? So do you know how obviously you get a breakdown on the UFC website?
Mm-hmm.
So it basically gives you your striking, like percentages, and you they basically put them head to head to each other, right? So landed per minute, right? This is significant strikes. So Paul Craig's is 2.4, right?
Right.
Have you looked at this? No. Right. So what do you think Hill's landed per minute significant strikes are? If you could take a guess.
Paul was 2 point what?
2.4.
I'll go double that, 4.8.
7.9. Right. And then they've got a percentage against each other. So the significant strikes percentage, like of their strikes in a match, Paul's is 49 and Hill's is 52.
Right.
And then you've got your absorbed per min. So obviously, with Paul's being quite low, so like his output being lower, I'm going to always assume that anybody who's got a low striking output is going to absorb maybe a bit less than somebody who's going to be like a full-time striker like him.
Yeah.
So Craig's got 2.43, and then absorb per minute for Hill is 3.15. So if he's basically doing double the work at anybody that he's fought, I know he's only he's had 4 fights in the UFC.
I think it's something like that.
But it's still impressive numbers, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Aye.
That's pretty insane.
Definitely something there. I mean, did you look at the odds, the bookmaker odds for this fight?
I did not look at any odds, but I wanted to get this done get my picks in. I didn't want to look at any odds. I didn't want to be like sort of persuaded in a certain way, if you know what I mean.
I mean, I've got
so
the
I
odds
just
in front of me here just now, but I'll not say them. Then I'll let you check them if you're going to have a look at it yourself and maybe
no,
money on them.
I suppose you could say this one if you want. Just crack on it.
Aye, so surprisingly, Hill is a massive favourite, 3-1.
Is he?
Aye.
Like, see, because he is Scottish, and see, because like you always think we probably will not do too well, like the Euros. Like everybody kind of thought, I don't think we're going to qualify. I think Scott, like, I don't know what word I'm trying to think, but I think we sort of like no undersell, undervalue. I'm not sure what I'm trying to say, but we always limit ourselves, if you know what I mean, without thinking too far ahead. If you know what I mean. If you know what I'm trying to say, I don't know what I'm trying to say. But
second nature being for this country, isn't it?
You just don't. Maybe you don't take yourself too serious or something. I don't know.
There's something to it.
Aye, definitely. And then so we've got the grappling stats. So I don't think Hill's even attempted a takedown. He's got no takedown accuracy or takedown average in his fights in the UFC. So I'm assuming he's not done anything, or that's an error on their side. Takedown average for Paul Craig's 2.11. Takedown, that's average, right? So his takedown accuracy is only 26%. But
is it?
Aye.
So that's 1 in 4 pretty much. If he was to throw 4 takedowns, he gets one of them.
Aye, and then Hill's takedown defense is 53%. So I think there is chances to get him done, because I think that's probably what he's going to need today, because I don't think he'll be able to stand with this guy.
Aye.
He's got Hill's got a 3-inch reach advantage on him.
Aye, I mean the two of them are pretty much the same height. I think both of them are 6'4".
Aye, pretty much. Aye.
You know, you can watch a fight and somebody uses the length differently to someone else, but they could be the same height.
100%. Aye, definitely. Aye.
He uses it. He moves explosive. He covers a lot of distance quickly.
Aye.
And obviously he's got devastating hands. So I think you're right. I think what Paul needs to do in this fight is probably use his kicks just to keep him at distance, figure out what he's going to try and do, and then whether he ends up on his back, he's probably going to be comfortable there, or if he can get some sort of body lock nice in close to him against the cage and put him down somehow, end up on top of him and start looking for the finish.
100%. I think, like, see if he just goes wild with kicks. Well, obviously, no trying to do a Chris Weidman spinning back kick, but you know what I mean? Like, just, like, because he could end up on his back with that guy in Tapio, and then that's a favourable position for Paul Craig at the end of the day. So you would expect a lot of kicks, but this is coming from somebody who's got absolutely zero experience in a fight, apart from when I was like fucking 10-year-old or something. You know what I mean? So, but you would, like, if you can try and put the two together, that's the kind of plan I think. Because I don't think he might prove it with the but I don't think he can stand and box with this guy.
Aye, I think you're on the money there, to be honest with you. I think it's just about closing distance and somehow getting a grappling exchange and looking for a finish right off the bat. I mean, everybody knows he's dangerous, and I'm sure Hill's aware of that, and he'll probably not want to go there with him, but we'll see. It's an exciting fight, because the way we look at it, if you're looking at Hill's record, I think he's 9-0, never lost. And as far as I'm aware, all his victories are either by decision or finish, TKO, KO.
Aye. So, just to go back on that, so it's 8-0 the new, then he's got the 1 no contest, I think.
Ah, right, okay.
Aye, because of the cannabis.
Ah, right, was it?
Was that on that Devil's Lettuce, know what I'm saying?
Was that his first fight in the UFC after a contender?
I don't think so. I've kind of got the stats up here. Let me just quickly jump into it. I think it was against a guy called Abreu. Is that his name? Abreu. He beat him in the first round, pretty much.
Right.
I think it was a Brazilian guy. I'm not 100% sure.
What's the full name? You get the full name?
Let me get it. So the name of the guy, Klidson Abreu.
No.
I don't know, man.
Don't know him.
I don't know where he's from. It says method overturned. That was the fight that he popped for.
Test?
Marijuana. That's
Mary
crazy.
Jo.
Imagine
Mary Joanna.
Imagine getting popped for that. You know what I mean?
Madness. Imagine being Nick Diaz and being banned for 5 years, mate, for smoking a joint.
He smoked more than a joint, man. He smoked a full fucking field.
But regardless, if it was a joint or a field, I just think it's still daftness, you know, I think.
It's very stupid. Like recreational drugs, probably I don't know, maybe unless you were coming into the fight for a heroin or something.
Aye.
It's a different story, man. But
Yeah.
there's obviously different things out there that can affect you more than other things, and I don't think that should be. Maybe don't be stoned during a fight. You know what I mean?
Aye. Yeah.
But
like when Nick Diaz fought against what's his
is
name?
it Takanuragome?
Aye.
Did I
In
say
Pride.
that right?
Aye, and apparently, like the blood test or piss test, whatever, after the THC level was that high for Nick that there was no way it wasn't high in the cage or the ring. That's what he said.
Aye, and he says, like, remember Joe Rogan was telling the story that he was doing the press conference by phone or something like that, or he was doing like an interview by phone and he was sticking bongs and playing with nunchucks. How do you get to be that fucking? You just don't give a shit.
Madness.
It's just fucking crazy, and it really is crazy.
But we'll wrap up this fight anyway. So,
Aye.
do you want me to give you my take and my pick on it first, and then you can go?
I think we've probably pretty much covered how it was going to go.
I think so. So what you had said is spot on. He's probably Craig will find himself in trouble if Hill can keep it standing and use the long boxing combinations. And if he's going to walk straight back, we head up mid-air, it's going to be a short night. But at the same time, the same thing goes in reverse. I'd like to see how he fares on his back, or even how he fares in Paul's guard. Be interesting either way.
Like obviously you never know unless it's shown. But the guy's got good hands, man. So if he doesn't need to go to the ground, then he doesn't need to go there. But you only know once you know, pretty much.
Aye, that's it.
Aye. Just before we do the pick, right? Did you see it in the episode? You seen up to episode 4 in Embedded, aye?
Aye.
Did you see the two of them talking to each other?
Aye.
Dude, mate, I was gutting myself, right? Because at first, like, something, I thought it was just like him talking to somebody, right? It took me a second to click that was the guy who was actually fighting, so I had to go back and rewatch it, right? And the guy comes up to him, he's like, who's your dealer? And he's like, what are you talking about? He's like, smoking dope. And he's like, what do you mean smoking dope? He's like, I'm not following what you're saying. And he starts like saying something to him, he's like, you smell funny or something like that. And he's like, your breath smells bad. No, what is it? You've got nasty ass breath. And the guy goes like that to him, and I've got nasty ass hands. I thought that was like a pretty good comeback to that. And then they kind of just had a wee bit of a fucking stare down again.
The officials in there trying to separate. Aye.
But it got me hyped as fuck, man.
Aye, same here. I thought it was a bit weird because I'm sitting watching it, right, and I'm sitting in my PC watching it, my headphones on, and it's showing me Moreno sitting. He's signing the posters, and he's just chatting away, and it just I just heard muttering, "Who's your dealer, man?" I seen it at the bottom, and I'm going, "What the fuck is this?" And then obviously it cut to they two did that.
Mate, it was quite confusing, wasn't it? Because it was just like, what the fuck? What's actually happening here? Right? Because it kind of took you by surprise, definitely.
It's an interesting
he's a
one.
likeable wee guy, that guy.
Aye, and he is cool.
Aye, he's just too likeable, man.
Aye.
Seems like a sound wee guy. Right, getting into the picks in?
Right, pick. I'm going with on this one. I'm going to go Paul Craig. Submission upset.
Mate, that's exactly what I've got. No
that's
joke.
What I'm hoping for.
Legit, no joke. Aye, man, I hope that happens. 100%. I don't see a knockout on his side.
Aye.
Hope he doesn't get knocked out. And I don't if it goes to a decision, it would be his first decision, so that would kind of, I don't know, man.
Aye, he's got a mental style, man. Like, whether it's standing or it's on the ground, it's constant attack. There's no stalling of any sort. I mean, have you watched the first Shogun fight that went to draw?
I believe I did see it, but it's been a long time ago. I just watched the second one.
It was an interesting fight, man. Interesting. So I think that the scoring and the reason it was a draw is Paul Craig got a 10-8 round 1, and then Hua got round 2 and 3. But it was literally there was nothing to it. It was 2 full stalled rounds, pretty much.
Was it?
Aye. So I don't know. I don't see this going to decision, to be honest with you, because whether it's standing or on the ground, Paul's going to look for a finish, and Hill's definitely looking for a finish with his hands, 100%. So it's a good one. It's a really good fight. I'm buzzing for it.
Aye, man. Hyped as fuck. I'll go and back him up if he needs any backup. Come out with a frying pan and fucking melt the cunt, mate.
Aye. Cook him some eggs.
I've got a story about a frying pan, but I'll tell you later on so we can crack on with this.
Cool.
Right, next one.
Did you mean that?
What? I've actually got a funny story about a frying pan. I could probably fit it in. Do you want me to just tell you?
Aye, because I said I'll cook him some eggs, and you went, I'll crack on. I'll favourite later.
Oh, man, I didn't even know that. No. I'll tell you the story now since it's fucking came up so much. So do you know how you like in America all the riots and shit? I was watching all the videos just to try to see some mad shit happening. But
Aye.
literally somebody brought a frying pan to a riot, right? And it came out and like so you get it's like a fence, right? And there's like fucking people fighting and tapping each other and throwing each other about. And this cunt comes out of nowhere, mate, with a frying pan, smacks somebody right in the face, mate, and it just goes dong like that, mate, and then turns around and just gets another person right in the face with a frying pan. I swear
Seriously?
to God, mate. Mate, no joke. I'll try and find the video. I probably
That
won't
caused
do
some
it. Find
damage,
it.
man. Bloody hell.
Mate, the noise of it made it pure comedy, but obviously that guy's probably got a shut up face. He
Aye.
got no nose left and shit. Yeah, I
It's
swear
flat.
to God, it was hilarious. America,
mad.
man. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
There's some place, but that's a different story for another time, innit?
But aye, sorry, I cut you off there because you were just about to go into the next fight and I brought the Egg King up, so on you go.
Nah, it's all good. So, Damian Maya versus Bilal Muhammad.
Right.
So, this one is kind of one of these weird ones, isn't it? It's like somebody's coming towards the end of their career,
Mhm.
and another person sort of getting their name sort of
Aye. Getting a
into
bit
the
of
UFC.
notoriety. That's it,
Aye,
aye.
so it's like it's a kind of I don't know. I kind of feel a bit shady for Damien, but he wants to fight though, doesn't he? You know what I mean, he's 33. He still wants to fight. Who am I to say that guy can't go and fight? You know what I mean?
Damien Maya.
It's somebody that you know what I mean.
He's 43.
43, aye. You
Aye.
know what I mean?
Madness.
It's like it is crazy, man. Like you always think somebody fighting, and you always think like early 30s, maybe 35, but then you go like 43. Like Randy Couture won a title at what 44, something like that. I think. I don't know if I'm just rambling.
Aye, he was actively fighting into his 40s anyway. Madness.
But I don't know. I always kind of feel shady for Damien, man. I don't know why, but I do.
I like him,
It
man.
just like I do like him and all, but I don't know, man. I just feel shady for him. I just wish he would retire.
Aye. 43 years
I
old,
suppose
man,
you
and
would
it's
say
just
that.
like, see when you look at the kind of martial arts stylists, and he is like
Aye.
a grappling purist. It's
It's
career longevity, just because I know he's been finished a couple of times in that, and he's been in some
Aye.
striking battles, but if you watch his fights where he's been effective, it's literally like he's on you like a boa constrictor. As soon as there's any opening, you're done, and there's no breathing space, and the fight's probably over before you've even thought about it. So
man.
he's playing it smart. That's how his career's went on this long.
Aye, 100%. And then, as I was saying the other day, like the people who's been beat, Afi, like you're talking about at the time, if they weren't at that time, but they were at one time during their career, like in the top 3, you know what I mean? So the people that he's been beat, Afi, are like the higher up echelon of fighters, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So, but there's two ways to look at that. So obviously you can see that he's never quite made it, and then you've got another guy, you've got a young guy. I don't know the age of this Bilal Muhammad guy, but I'm taking him to be a lot younger than Damien Maya is.
Aye.
Like he's gonna be able to come in and have the opportunity to beat him, and then be on the list of people that beat Damien Maya as like the higher tier people. You know what I mean? It's a bit of a strange one, I know.
Aye.
Because if you look through it, you see all the names, and you see that, and you go, Jeremy Conor McGregor, didn't you go, who the fuck is that guy? You know what I mean? Pretty much, because a lot of people know him.
Aye, you're right in saying that, man, because if you look at Maya's career, like how many losses has he got? Have you got a note of that?
Aye, so 10 losses.
10, is it? Jesus.
Aye.
But they're all,
28 wins, 10 losses.
They're all top flight. I mean, I'm pretty sure that in his last 4 fights, he's 3-1.
Is he 3-1,
aye? Aye, he was on a 3-fight streak, and then he gets stopped by Gilbert Burns. So it's not as if he's been losing runners.
Gilbert Burns and all.
Aye. I mean, it was an interesting fight, but because there's 2 unbelievable grapplers, both world champions, but one of them has got absolute bombs in his hands.
Dynamite.
Exactly, man. They put him down fairly easily.
Yeah, man.
I
think it was pretty good getting him. Aye, you go.
No, on you go. What are you going to say?
No, crack on, mate.
I was going to say Muhammad he is kind of well known. He's well liked, I think. But at the same time, he's no like high profile. He's not had a lot of exposure. Obviously,
his biggest fight's probably against.
Aye. His biggest fight is no doubt against him, but that ending was absolutely horrendous.
Aye, and that was disgusting, man. See the blood coming out his eye?
Aye, it's not even that, but just like see that still image, and his finger is literally inside the eye, the bottom eyelid, and pulling it out the way. Have you seen that?
I don't think I've. No, I've. I just seen it during the fight, like because I rewatched it. I rewatched like the fight, so you see it get in, and then But I don't remember them playing a replay or anything like that. But I'll need to have a look at that, man. That's a wild situation, that.
Right. Just open up Google right now as we're on this, right, and type in Bilal Muhammad eye, right, and look at the picture. His finger is
Let's have a
literally
look.
inside his bottom eyelid and pulling it.
Mate, it was the top recommendation.
If there is anybody listening,
it's like hooked in it. Aye.
If there is
Right,
anybody
you own it.
actually listening to this podcast, do yourself a favour just now and go into Google and Google Bilal Muhammad eye and look at the picture.
He's
That is
actually
an
got
eye
his
poke of
finger
eye pokes.
under. He's got his finger underneath the bottom eyelid
Aye.
and pulling it out.
Aye. It's like you could pour a cup of water into his eye. It's like that opened.
Aye, or you could take a piss in it, one or two.
Well, I don't know about
Each to their own.
that.
Another thing I need to bring up in right? Like, how many eye pokes does it need to take for them to change your fucking gloves?
No, man, it's like how many episodes of Joe Rogan podcast can you listen to when you get MMA people in and he talks about gloves? But it genuinely is a thing. But I mean, people have been talking about this for a long time, but it's even bigger than it is now because you're getting these bigger fights and main events and stuff that are finishing because of this.
It's
It is a
fucking
danger.
stupid.
Have you ever tried on the official UFC gloves before? I think you bought a pair, didn't you, a while ago?
I had a pair, but I think it was like the training ones
Right.
for the bag. But
they're literally solid, mate. It's like so hard,
Aye.
it's so straight, and if you listen to any fighters talking about it, it's like you have to strain to make a fist and close it.
aye, they say it kind of pushes the fingers. Like if you had to like try and stretch a hornet, it says like it feels like it pure pushes all your fingers away from each other, rather than trying to keep you sort of like I don't know how to even describe it, but like just like curve your hand. You know what I mean? Like why? I don't get it, mate. Literally, mate, you could just give them a pair of mittens, man, and just put the wee fucking bit of the tap it, and then it'll just like take out the way of fucking poking people in the eye, man. Like, does somebody need to lose an eye? You know what I mean? I know Bisping lost an eye, didn't he? Get kicked in the head.
He did. He get kicked right in the head by TRT Vitor.
Aye. Man, he's gone in boxing. Do you know that?
I know that. I've seen that.
That Triller boxing, man. He's got some.
Aye.
Oh well,
if they're going to make money, go for it, isn't it? But it's madness, so mate.
Aye, but he went to ONE FC. I don't know if he fought in ONE FC, but he did take a hell of a lot of fucking steroids.
Aye.
And then he'll be getting into that boxing fight following him and all, 'cause I don't imagine nobody in any testing on that show.
No.
Fuck's sake.
No, I don't think he has fought since his release for UFC. You might be wrong in saying that, but his last fight was a KO front kick, Machida, 2018.
Was it? Aye.
Aye,
because they signed with ONE FC, but did they sign as a fighter or did they sign like an ambassador or some shit?
I don't know. I thought it was a signed athlete, as if he was going to fight there, but I don't know. I might be wrong in saying that.
That's the way I took it as well.
Yeah.
But he said he left, and then he's going to do this boxing event. I'm not sure if they've named an opponent, but another thing that's quite strange I've seen. No strange, man. It's fucking pretty obvious it's going to happen. So obviously, Overeem did Overeem get cut or leave? I think he pretty much get cut, didn't he?
I don't know if it was a cut or fought his contract out and it wasn't renewed that time.
And it was just like and done. He's
like an amicable split.
He signed back with Glory.
Aye.
A free fight deal, I think.
Aye, it's interesting. Let's see what happens.
It's a strange one. I'll get me to tune into that anyway.
Aye.
He should be fighting what, Badr Hari or something, but what's that other big guy's name? The big main guy, the big main heavyweight guy. What's his name again?
Who, the Dutchie?
Aye.
Rico Verhoeven.
Aye, that's the one. Aye, that's what you got to need to fight.
Aye, well,
it's Overeem coming back to kickboxing.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Aye, exactly. That's like it's as if like GSP comes back, he's not going to fight Bilal Muhammad. You know what I mean? He's going to fight
no, definitely not. He probably
no disrespect to Bilal Muhammad, but
aye. I'll take a fight with Bilal Muhammad.
Aye. You get done him, but I'd pay to watch it.
As long as I get paid, I don't give a fuck, man.
But anyway, let's get back to that. Let's get back to the chat about that fight.
Aye, we're good at sidetracking it, me.
Aye, but that's what happens when you're having a chit chat about these things.
Right, so I've got my stats again. Hold the bus, right?
Right, go for
it. I'm just going to say sig strikes, right, for significant because I think I'm going to fuck that word up a few times. So there's Damien, as you can predict, Damien Maia's landed per minute is quite low, 1.82, and then you've got Bilal's at 4.75.
Right,
and then so this is where it kind of gets a bit strange. So let me go back to Paul Craig's a second, right? So if we go back to that's 2 point, right, that's fine. Actually, I'm just rambling. So let's go back to the sig strikes, right? So The absorb strikes for Damien Maya is just call it 2 because it's 2.01, so just call that 2. And then it absorbed per minute on Bilal's side is 4.0. So basically, for every punch that Bilal's throwing, he's getting hit back, but that's just not going to happen against Damien Maya. You know what I mean? He's going to be able to. But Damien Maya, it's pretty much just straight punches all you're getting for him, isn't it? Really?
Aye, there's no singing and dancing. It's just fundamentals. It's just rudimentary 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, that type of thing. It's just your single strikes and entries and stuff like that. But to be honest with you, he doesn't really need to do it and flash it, does he? Because everybody knows what he's going to try and do.
Why did they all just develop kicks, man? Like everybody says, like if you
he did. Do you not remember what happened?
No.
So in his career, I entered UFC and he submitted like 4 or 5 people in a row by triangle and whatever else. I can't really remember, but I remember watching his career. And there was a big deal made out of the fact that he was fighting out of a banned fight team. So they were all going, "Oh my god, he's got kickboxing now and he's got these flying knees," and that was what the focus was. Do you not remember this?
I think I remember what you're talking about.
Aye, so you remember where I'm going here in a second. So people are going, "Oh my god, like, I think how good his ground game is. If he came out and he had striking, it's just unbelievable. Championship material." So signed the fight. Nate Marquardt came out and he threw some sort of fucking dodgy jumping kick and get knocked out in midair in 20 seconds.
I remember that actually, man. So I'll take back everything I said about that. But mate, see if I knew I was good off my back, I would be doing fucking mad cartwheels and everything. You would be doing mad shit, wouldn't you? Because like a rolling thunder man, a fat man's flying fucking kick or some shit.
I think a good example of that is
absolutely embarrassing, man.
I know, mate, but the fact that people have been knocked out with him, Badr Hari, one of the best kickboxers ever, has been knocked out by one of them. Aye.
It's a pure fat man's lazy somersault or something like that, isn't it?
It's Justin Gaethje special, man. He loves a wee rollabout, doesn't he?
Who was it, mate? Or was it Chael Sonnen, wasn't it? Who was it that caught Chael Sonnen's leg and it just spun round on her forward toe and stood back up and stands again now?
Anderson's
that was insane, man.
That was pretty interesting, mate. I didn't expect that at all.
Aye, that was nuts, man. See how quick he just got back into stance again? That was just fucking class, man.
Aye. So with this fight, like you're saying, it's clear cut that Maya's wanting to obviously engage in grappling, need little to no damage, and finish the fight as quickly as possible via submission. Bilal want to keep it up, and I think, for memory serving me, I don't have it in front of me, and I don't remember, but I think Bilal had quite a lot of decision wins. So,
if I just quickly go up here, so the majority of his wins is coming by decision, and a total of 13.
Right.
And he's won 18 fights.
Okay, so 13 of which are decisions.
Aye. So
any submissions?
Can I see how one submission?
Has he been submitted?
He has not been submitted, no. So if Maya was managed to do it, he would be the first man to put the submission on his record. He's been knocked out once, 2 decisions.
I'd be interested to see how that goes then.
Aye, and he's got the no contest against Leon Edwards.
Aye. Well, that was an interesting first round, and then it started to take a turn, and Leon Edwards was just teeing off on him anyway. So
aye,
he might have made it to the end by decision, and it might have been finished in my opinion. But it was a shame. It was a really bad one.
Aye. So let's jump down to we've got the grappling stats here. So this is when it's going to get back interesting, right? So you've got your takedown average, right? So for Maya, it's 2.49.
Right.
So, like, I thought it may have been a bit higher than that. But, like, he never really goes for takedowns, does he? He's usually...
I think what you're thinking is you don't see him doing takedowns that often, but a lot of the time, if you look back at his victories, his submission one comes off the back of the first takedown. So he doesn't have to shoot for them that much, because a lot of the time it's engaging a finish. That's
pretty fucking true, man, definitely.
That would make
and
sense.
Then you've got the takedown average for Bilal's 1.97.
Right. What about his takedown defense? Be interested to see that.
So I'll hit the takedown accuracy first, right?
Right.
So Maya's takedown accuracy is 25%, while Bilal's 28%.
Right.
So who do you think has got the best takedown defense out of the both of them?
That's an interesting one. I don't think surely they just try to take down Damien Maya before. Other than John Fitch, and that didn't go very well for him.
So takedown defense on Maya's side is 61%, but that could be what do you call that when you say something's not true, pretty much? false, maybe because he probably
Aye.
wants a lot of people to take him down, right?
Aye, exactly.
And then you've got on the opposite side, you've got Bilal Muhammad's takedown defense at 85%.
Oft.
So it does no bad.
That's
That's pretty high, man. It does no bad, like.
Interesting. Aye, well, if he can show
Aye.
us some of that tonight, it's probably going to be a rough night for old Damien, 43-year-old Damien.
Aye, because I was thinking, like, as I've put down, I may as well just run into the pick and just think
Go
how
for
it's
it.
going to go. So I've went with Bilal Muhammad to win by decision, purely
Right.
based off of the, like, his stand-up is decent, it's good. It's probably going to be light years ahead of Damian Maia's.
Mm-hmm.
Damian Maia's getting older. Could be his last fight of his career, but most likely, as he was saying, he wants one more, so it could be the second one. And then the takedown defense is probably going to come into play. So if Damian Maia is getting lit up on the feet, he's going to want to take him down. And then 85% takedown defense, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you think of the people he's fought, obviously people are trying to take him down. So if you're fighting a higher kick caliber of fighter, you're going to get taken down if that's their fucking forte, you know what I mean? But I don't think that's going to happen. That's why I've went with a decision.
Aye. I'm right on the same spot once again. I've got Bilal Muhammad decision victory. Same thing as you.
That's crazy, isn't it? That's mental how the two of us went with the exact same things. I mean, didn't even speak about it, I know.
I know exactly. I think that's the best part about it is the fact that we decided. I know we spoke about stuff, bits and pieces in the lead up to recording this, but we haven't got into any detail about these fights because we wanted to keep it nice and fresh. So it's interesting that both of us have had the same take so far.
Definitely. I think the only way Maia wins it, say they start clinching up against the fence, he managed to slip the back right in there rear naked. I think that's the only path to victory he's got. Aye,
I'm saying, I don't know, something just telling me in my heart like you're saying. Damian Maia comes in and it looks like the same person he did against like Carlos Condit. So he comes in, there's literally nothing to it. He walks him down and he shoots for him. He'd outside, he'd inside, whatever, he goes for a double. Whatever it is he does, body lock and then jumps his back and human backpacks. If he does that and he gets hold of him, he's in a dangerous spot. If he can get away for that grappling exchange in first round, I think he's just going to tire so much and it'll be evident. So that's why I went with Bilal decision.
Aye, so the next fight we've got Leon Edwards, Nate Diaz, the motherfucking king. Aye, right. So this is a very strange fight in my eyes.
Yep.
For the simple reason that obviously you've got Nate Diaz who fought majority fight lightweight, majority is career in lightweight, right?
Yep.
Coming up and fighting somebody who was basically supposed to be the next title contender to fight for the belt, you know what I mean? And then all the things that's happened previously, you've got like not being able to fight, getting cut out the rankings, basically having to start fresh. Comes back and fights Bilal Muhammad, and he's basically in his fight back. Dana says if he gets an impressive victory, he's getting a title shot.
Yeah,
gets that stumped, and then fights Nate Diaz. It's just strange. You think so?
Aye, that's mental. And it's just
like Diaz is getting no footing in that division whatsoever, but apart from his name, pretty much that's the only thing that's bringing it up.
Nailing the head with that there, to be honest with you, man. Like Edwards he's looked good. I think he's like 8 victories and 1 no contest with eye poke in his last 9 fights. I'm pretty sure the last person to beat him, he's only lost like 2 or 3 fights. I can't remember. Do you get his record there?
Aye. So this is all time, so I don't know about UFC records. So he's got 3 losses, 2 decision, and then it says 1 other, whatever that could be, because it says KO, TKO submissions of 0. I don't know what the 1 other could be. Well, I don't know what that is.
Well, I think his last loss was a decision loss to the champ Usman.
Aye,
and that was like 5-6 years ago.
Normal for everybody, innit?
Aye. But I think he's really good. He's really well rounded. He's still on a term mentally. He's no lost. He's obviously had some dodgy stuff going on, which is obviously a bit of a setback. And then you've got Diaz, who's just a draw. I mean, he could come in at £215 fight MD, a heavyweight, and people would buy into it, and it would be a main event. It's just because the kind of star power behind him.
Aye, 100. There you go.
Have you got his stats in front of you, Diaz?
So I've got the 6 strikes in the grappling. But just before we jump into that, right? just
Aye.
another. There's a lot of story behind this fight for me, right? So I just took a lot of points, run them through with you, right? So, let me go. So we spoke about the first bit, right? So if we see, right, so say for instance, right, Leon wins this fight, right? So he's probably next in line for a title shot. If not, he'll fight, I don't know, somebody who's sitting second, maybe like Colby or something like that. But I think he'll get a title shot, right? It might be already in motions for it to happen. But right, if Nate wins it, right, so if he comes in, beats Leon Edwards, right, he literally takes an opponent, like a fresh opponent away for Kamaru Usman, right, who's already beat like everybody there is to beat. Like if he goes ahead and fights Kamaru Usman, like nobody would fight the right, you know what I mean? I think Nate would get absolutely killed, man. It'd just be sort of like reminiscent to the Rory McDonald fight, probably. You know what I mean? That was like one of the craziest like demolishings that you'd ever see. It's like just like Joe Lozon versus fucking Gabe Rudiger. You know what I mean? So it's like, do you really want to see that fight again? I don't want to see that fight, but as you say, as anybody who fights Nate Diaz, it's always going to be a big fight, regardless of whatever way it is. If it was fighting somebody in his backyard, then everybody would want to watch it. You know what I mean?
Aye.
And then
I think, see, the only thing I would be interested to find out, right, because I don't know off by heart. I could probably tell you the opponents he's had, if you take McGregor out of the situation, but Diaz's fights at 170. He's not had many, and I'm pretty sure he was wrecked in pretty much every one of them, bar maybe one or two. Marcus Davis, I don't know if... I think he fought... Did he fight Marcus Davis at welterweight?
Yeah,
submitted him. And then he battered Rory Markham and all.
Aye, they were... Was that welterweight, aye?
I don't know if Marcus Davis' fight was at welterweight light, I can't mind. If you can pull it up and check.
I'm trying to find it right now. Some of these sites don't... They just tell you, like, I think the best way is probably Wikipedia, innit? Because that usually tells you exactly what weight they were on. And another thing I've wrote down, like, Nate wins it, does he disappear for, like, 2 years, come back, and do an awkward interview with Helwani, as usual, man. Not me, one of these mad weirdo fucking interviews.
Aye.
Say nobody wants to fight him, and he doesn't want to fight anybody.
He just comes back and takes another big stack of paper in another 3 or 4 years' time.
Aye, man.
Aye,
definitely.
I've got his record up, right? So he went to...
Aye, I've just got it too, aye.
Welterweight, first fight, Rory Markham, that was the one I was saying about. He absolutely leathered him. That was, oh my god, mate. If you do you remember that fight? Oh,
is that the one, was it finished? No, it was punches. No, I don't think so.
Aye, it was devastating anyway.
It says return to welterweight, so he must have started at welterweight.
Oh, he's obviously fought there, but he's fought in welterweight back in the day. Koji
Oishi. Aye, like it says it's got lightweight debut, welterweight debut, then return to lightweight. Aye, that's it. Aye.
I say he won the 2 fights and he looked pretty good, and then he fought against people who genuinely were a bit bigger, like Stun Gun, who is obviously he's a big dude. Decision victory.
What happened to him?
He just kind of went down. He just didn't really. He faded eventually. I don't know. I'd be interested. I'm not going to check his record now. It's another one for talking time. But the last big fight I remember him in was against John Hathaway in China, spinning back elbow knockout. Remember that?
I remember that. I remembered looking at I was looking at John. I was on John Hathaway's record today, and I was like, "Wow, man." Nah, you could do that with. We could do that with everybody in UFC, but couldn't you? Like, if you went back in the day, like you click somebody's record and you go, "Oh, what happened to that guy?" You click and you go, "Oh, he fought that guy. What happened to that guy?" You could be there all day.
I mean, I could be sitting eating my cereal, right, and I'll think about a fight that happened 15 years ago, and then I'm just stuck with it all day, and then I finish work and go on Fight Pass or Google or whatever it'd be, and start looking at old stuff for years ago. I do it all the time. Just random fighters pop into my head.
You'll get UFC in the brain, but
it's interesting.
It is amazing, man.
But he fought 2 real bigger, stronger welterweights, and he got ragdolled. And then that was him. He wasn't a welterweight fighter again until he fought Conor.
Aye.
And since then he's fought.
Basically,
it's just it's. I mean, his victory against Pettis, that was at 170, but Pettis again, he's not a welterweight.
Aye, he's 45. He fought the 45 or one fight, was it?
Aye.
Yeah, he's in PFL.
Aye. And he's lost there.
Aye, do you know? You see, when he was going to PFL, man, like Pettis is like somebody who loves to blow his own trumpet, right? As everybody knows, man, he's always saying, I'm the man. He's like, I'm going to go to PFL and I'm going to carry this company into like the bigger leagues and all this. I'm going to expand this company and that. And he goes in and gets beat, man. It's just like, maybe you should just shut your mouth now and again.
He was pretty good, man. He had a lot of tools, see, because he's got that Taekwondo style and his kicks were mental, but because his leg flexibility and dexterity, and again, he was so comfortable to throw kicks because his guard game was good and all. Obviously, like I'm pretty sure he won the UFC lightweight title off his back, armbar, that he hit
Aye, mate.
Benson
I was
Henderson with.
absolutely buzzing with that fight,
Aye.
mate.
I thought you
I
liked
used to
that.
love
I
Pettis.
thought you liked that.
Aye, man. Pettis was my boy for a while.
The Wheaties box guy, as Diaz calls him.
Aye, that was nuts.
But aye, back to the kind of topic of that fight. Again, Diaz, he's there to take stacks of money, and he's so tough, he's so durable, he's going to be in your face, he's a cardio machine. But I just honestly like what I've got down here. In fact, you know what? I'll let you take over and you can go back through your stats before I say my side of it.
Aye, so I'm just going to chuck another couple of things in because I've got a few questions coming off the back of this fight, right? So obviously it's going to be a 5-round fight, which is it's not a co-main event or a main event. So it's basically just a normal fight as a 5-round, right? So what I was thinking about this is, so a numbered event is always a big event, right? It's always got big fights on it. It's always got fights that matter in a sense. You know what I mean? Sometimes you get a fight night event, and then you've got a couple of fights on it that feel like filler fights. Obviously, people need to make their name, need to build up their record, but they're just only cared to fill that slot.
Yep.
But when you've got a numbered event, you've got like 5 fights that if somebody wins that fight, they're definitely going places. They might be getting more popular. They might be next in line for a title shot, whatever, right? So basically what I was thinking, if you're going to run, this is a 5-round fight. The reason is because it was supposed to be a 5-round fight at UFC 262, so they just said, just be another 5-round fight. But why not have every fight on the pay-per-view, on a numbered event, a 5-round fight?
Aye, I mean, see if you look back at all the fights that have been close, and if you had another 2 rounds, that could have been a different game altogether. That would kind of make sense, to be honest with you, a lot of the time. And then again, majority of the time you tend to find people who are fighting in the main card hold a rank, so they're probably top 15. And the likelihood of them fighting for a title is probably going to be imminent. It's probably going to happen within the next 2 years, just depending on who it is. So that could be looked at as preparation for a 5-round, 25-minute title fight.
Aye, 100%.
You're talking about the timing, obviously. Like if you're going to have a full main card made up of 5-round fights, then it's going to be like a bit a long card, depending on how many fights are there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then one of the things, like I tried to think of like positives and negatives of having that. So obviously, in my eyes, I think it has a higher chance for the better fighter to win the fight. If you know what I'm saying.
Aye.
So like, it's obviously.
If you come in, you're right in saying that. Aye. Sorry, on you go, you continue.
Aye, so obviously, if you come in like prepared, so you might not be the best fighter in that fight, but if you come in and you do all the right things, you've got the preparation on your side, you've game planned well, you can beat this guy by doing this certain thing. Like it seems, I think in my eyes, it seems to favour the person who's better prepared, somebody who's put the time and effort into it. Like in a 3-round fight, like obviously every fight. It's tiring, like you fucking see people gassing out shit. But I think it just makes it easier for decisions to go the right way for the better fighters to win. Mm-hmm. Definitely. I don't know if I just spoke absolute shite there. But
no, not
that's how
at
I
all,
feel.
man. Not at all. I mean, I'll put it in my words and see if you agree and see if it sounds like what you mean by that. Like, you could take 2 people, right, and we'll go an example, right. We'll say you've got a Max Holloway and you've got somebody who's just coming up like Calvin Kattar, right? We'll just imagine they hadn't fought, right?
Right.
And you've got a 3-rounder. Kattar comes out hungry, mental, and his boxing combinations looking amazing, and he takes the first round without a doubt. And then the second round's a close one, but it maybe goes to Kattar. And then Max Holloway he's not even kicked into gear yet, but he's only got a round to work. Whereas if that was a 5-round fight, he'd be comfortable with that. The likelihood is that Kattar will gas out pretty quickly because he's output. But Max will just be kicking into gear and then his main work in the last 3 rounds.
Right. Aye, that's kind of definitely that's kind of where I was going with, definitely.
Aye.
And you go on the flip side, right? Well, could it end up with fights being too boring, like people being too cautious? I mean, does it affect the performance of the people that is fighting? If you know what I mean, people going to hold back to like obviously the people that like to come out in the first round and take people's heads off. Is that going to be less of a thing Or is that going to happen, but that person knows that they're going to be fucked for the next 4 rounds after they try and do the first round, you know what I mean?
Well, you're right. I think the people would maybe be a wee bit more reserved, thinking I've got longer to go than I normally would have, to taking it on hook and start throwing more strikes.
Aye.
So it would deter that in a way. But can I just jump ahead of you and ask a question? You know, you said you've got a couple of questions for me.
Right.
Is one of them related to the first 5-round non-title fight?
No. So basically, the
Oh.
questions was just basically running after that, and then just the questions that followed it. That's pretty much me done with that.
Right. Well, I've got a question for you then.
Okay.
What was the first 5-round fight that wasn't a title fight?
Yeah, that's a good question, and I'm pretty sure I do know it, but right now my brain isn't working. But let me just try and think, because it was a big deal, wasn't it?
It was a big deal, and it was a big deal to us for a reason, but I'm not going to give you any more than that. Don't Google
What?
it.
Give me a countdown. What am I getting? 10 seconds or something?
I'll give you...
Because obviously we can't go for like fucking half an hour.
Right, go. You've got 15 seconds starting now.
Right. Oh, first 5-round non-title. I know it in the back. I know it in my head, but what division was it? You can give me that.
Was a middleweight.
Middleweight.
That's your time.
His thing wasn't involved, was he?
No.
Right, who was it?
It was UFC 138, Mark Munoz versus Chris Lieben in Nottingham.
Fuck, so it was. Motherfucker done me out of money, mate.
We were there.
Aye, mate, still to this day, I get conned out of money, and I couldn't even care less what anybody says about it. I still feel strongly about that, and I'll take that to my grave.
Aye, 138. Card we were at. That was good fun. That was a good night, wasn't it?
I was absolutely wrecked, man. I remember coming out the other day, mate. You know, the other day I was actually thinking about that, and I remember when they came out to that Filipino tune.
Aye.
I remember being the only person in the crowd, I think, was actually dancing to it. Everybody was booing on mine because everybody loved Chris Lieben because he was an absolute psychopath.
Aye.
And I was the only one, like, pure having a fucking jam session, mate. That was amazing, man.
Aye.
Filipino.
That was a good event, man.
I need to put that on.
It was a lot of finishes that night.
Mate, I can't even remember who was fighting. Mate, do you know who's sidetracking the game, right? But we'll do it for about another 20 seconds. The fucking, I came across the other day's record, Paul Sass, mate. He's got, like, the most...
Sass angle.
Attempted submissions or something like that, and like, was it lightweight or welterweight he fought?
Aye, it was lightweight, I'm sure. Aye,
lightweight. Aye. I think he holds a record in some lightweight thing.
Aye,
which is crazy, man.
Aye, he's the Sass angle, mate. If you looked at his record, I'm pretty sure he's like something stupid, man. Like 10 or 12 submissions by triangle choke.
Aye, man, that's insane, isn't it?
Crazy, man.
Right.
And he beat a couple of good guys and all when he hit UFC. I'm sure he finished a couple of good people.
Aye, he beat Wat Myman, didn't he?
Aye, he beat Matt. No, in fact, he didn't. Matt beat him.
Did he?
Aye, that was a turning point because I thought that was going to be an easy fight because he submitted Jacob Volkman, who was a beast at the time.
Mate, that was the guy who said he was going to shoot Barack Obama or something.
That's the one. That's the very one, mate. Aye, FBI to visit his house. He submitted him. I think he won a couple of high-profile fights by submission. Triangle choke, I think.
Aye.
Can't remember.
Because they were quite hot on him for a while.
Aye.
Aye, definitely were.
Right.
We're getting into the stats now.
Aye, go for it.
Right, so the 6 stats for, so we go, I just need to double make sure who's on it, so good. So Leon Edwards is, which, if you think is probably quite low, landed per minute is 2.56. Obviously Diaz is going to have a higher output than that, it's 4.62, but I thought Leon's would maybe have been a bit higher than that.
Me too.
Definitely. And then the amount of significant strikes between them, obviously I think Diaz could be a bit low because obviously his punches are just like, it's just combinations in it.
Aye.
Slow punches just to fucking rattle your skull. So you've got the Leon Edwards on 47 and Nate Diaz on 45. And then absorb per minute. I take it you know who's the next one in that.
Diaz must be one of the worst, surely.
Aye, definitely, man. He'll tell you a lot of stories. So it's 2 for Edwards and then 3.78 for Diaz.
Right, so
and then
pretty much double.
Defense is what 55% versus 53, so there's not really much happening there. But you just can't. And Diaz is getting his face cut up a lot these days as well, man. So
aye.
I don't see it being in his favour. But
aye.
We can go through that in a wee second. So they go to grappling. So takedown average. For Leon, it's 1.35. Diaz is 1.19.
Right.
Takedown accuracy, 30% each.
Wow, it's pretty close, isn't it? Close to both, man.
And then takedown defense, you've got Edwards with 70%, and then Diaz with 42. But that's sort of like a false in it because Diaz will probably let people take him down.
Again, he's happy to play guard, pretty much. So.
Yeah, 100%, man.
It's an interesting fight regardless, man, because it's always good fun to watch Diaz, and whatever version of him comes out, it's going to be a good watch.
100%. And he's never been in a boring fight in his life.
Exactly,
you know what I mean?
Exactly. And this is an interesting fight because how many eyes are on Leon to see how he performs.
100%.
So it's a goodie. It's a good one, definitely.
Again, he's got to get the title shot because it's like Usman and Colby next on it. Do you know what's quite strange? Right? I said in an article the other day, Leon saying, I don't understand why Colby Covington's getting the next title shot. And I thought to myself, you're actually scheduled to fight somebody. So how can you say that? Because they could literally fight a month after you fight, you know what I mean? And then you're going to need another 6 months before you fight again, probably.
Yep.
So
that's a kind of weird thing to say, isn't it? You're right. It's as if he's saying, like, why Mano getting it, but he's scheduled to fight.
It was quite strange, 100%. One thing I want to say to you.
Yeah.
I was watching the Leon Edwards RDA fight.
Mm-hmm.
And I spotted something. I was like, that was actually pretty nasty. So, and I think this is probably going to be something that plays a major factor in this fight. Is he had him in a tie clinch, and he looked like he was about to knee. So you seen his hip move back, and it looked like he was going to come up with the knee and the chin. But he switched at the last second. He came in with an elbow and busted RDA's eyes up. And I was like, that's actually pretty nifty watching that. And cut him up. And then I was thinking, like, Diaz, the last fight with Masvidal was like a doctor stoppage, wasn't it?
Yep.
So if he's
hold on a minute. Have you somehow managed to get a hold of the sheet I've wrote down?
No, why?
Because literally it says on it his elbows in the clinch and the fact that Diaz's last fight was a doctor stoppage that could play a part.
Aye.
Definitely. You've been looking at something I'm doing here.
That's quite strange. So I was thinking to myself, like, that is a possible way this fight's going to be stopped. Because if you flip Diaz and he gets cut open, remember in the corner fight, it was actually totally shreds, man.
There was blood everywhere, mate. His face was just a pulp.
He needs to go and get Wanderlei Silva treatment, man. He came out fucking
just a new
completely different. Aye, man. He his fucking bones chiseled and shit, didn't he?
Aye, mate. Apparently they said, like, when they first opened up his face, his nose anyway, that, like, they were calling people in because they'd never seen a nose that bad. It was literally just tons of fragments. And it's believable, innit?
That must have been absolutely brutal to try and breathe through that nose, man. Jesus Christ.
You can hear it, man. He can't even breathe.
It's chicken and rice.
Chicken and the rice, and sometimes the rice and the chicken.
You want to go first on the pick on this one?
Aye, I'll go for it. Okay, so with this one I've put down, I've got a kind of double-barreled one here. I wasn't really sure where to go.
Right.
So I've got Leon Edwards by decision / dock stoppage.
Right. I've got...
Strike, sorry to cut you off, but... on you go. You say yours first and then we'll go into it.
Mate, I was going to go with the doctor stoppage side, but I just went Leon Edwards' decision, and I was like, could be a doctor stoppage, but I didn't put it in because I was thinking to myself, how unlucky do you need to be to get 2 doctor stoppages in a row? But it's a possibility.
It definitely is. I think if you look at Diaz's record, right, I might be wrong in saying this, but he's only ever been beaten by stoppage, and that was a TKO by Josh Thompson. About 2012, he'd kick and then strikes to follow up. But he's so tough, mate. He's so tough. You never really see him that hurt. So, his decision is probably where I'm leaning towards. Like you're saying, the likelihood of 2 doctor stoppages back to back. But when you look at his face, man, and any sort of decent strike will open him up across the eyebrows.
His skin looks thin, doesn't it? You know what I'm talking about? See when you see cuts on him, his skin looks thin. Because it just looks like it. It looks like an old leather couch. See when you get a good couch, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's all tight and all that. And then see when you see somebody getting a normal cut, you can see the thickness of their skin.
Aye.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
Like, remember Marvin Eastman's big fucking hole in his head? You can see how thick his skin was.
Aye.
But see when Diaz gets cut, I don't know, man. It looks like a fucking. I don't know how. I don't even know how to describe it, man. But it looks thin. I don't know if he's been bashed that many times he's been fucking tenderized like a steak, and it's just went flat. The skin. No, I'm talking about.
Oh, aye. It's so weird, man.
That's kind of looks like to me. It looks like he's got pure thin skin, and it just gets cut out.
He looks like the type of person who'd be like rolling about with his bird having a laugh and he'd end up bleeding.
Like fucking what do you call it? That picture I sent you the other day when Luke Rockhold has got to sleep. That Damon Lovato gave him a kiss on the chin and put him to sleep. That was incredible, man.
Oh,
At first, I never got it. I was like,
Aye.
fuck. Then I was like, right, yeah, I
That's
get
too
it.
good, bud. That's too good.
Aye, that was an absolute beaver. On that
Bye.
fight, I wrote basically the pick with the brain is Leon, but the pick with the heart goes to Diaz. But
Right.
if I had to pick, it would be Leon's decision.
Right, but you're what you're
100%.
saying is you're obviously rooting for Diaz. You'd like him to see him win.
Aye,
Right.
100%. But I wouldn't at the same time because he's going to disappear again, and it's just all this bullshit again, isn't it?
Aye.
They might get a fight, and then they might not turn up on us.
Aye. But it's a good one. I'm
Yeah,
looking
but-
forward to it.
I definitely. You know, we're probably going to go into the fight you're looking forward to the most, maybe.
No. No, believe it or
No?
not. No.
I thought this would have been well up there for you.
Did you think so?
Aye, I thought this had Richie written all over it.
It'll be a good fight, don't get me wrong. I definitely looking forward to it, but I think there's a couple other ones I'd rather see.
Aye. What, because you've seen this played out before?
No, not even that. I think there's a totally different dynamic to it this time because both of them, if you're looking into it, you'll have seen this. Both of them had fought, and I think it was like the 18th of November, and then they fought each other 3 weeks later.
Aye.
So the two of them had fights close together, so it wasn't really a full camp, full preparation. Didn't really know what to expect. That is a good fight, man. Definitely.
Aye, that's the kind of vibe I've got for that as well. Like basically, I thought Moreno had like the shortest time to prepare for it. But was Figueiredo, was he supposed to be fighting somebody else, or was it just basically like a quick turnaround fight for the both of them?
Aye, so Figgy was supposed to, he fought Alex Perez and he won submission first round, but I'm pretty sure that was when he was supposed to fight Cody. I might be wrong saying that.
Right.
I think
Because I thought Moreno was like, for what I can recall, I thought like there was a fight for Figueiredo, then somebody then whoever that was either get pulled out or whatever for camp, and then Moreno stepped up. But I've obviously thought about that one, right?
I think it was supposed to be Cody Garbrandt and Figgy for the title, and then he pulled out obviously with COVID, and then he put him in with Alex Perez, who had won a fight recently. But because I'm pretty sure that Moreno was out of the UFC, get released, and then he won some fights and came back, and then he was on like a 3-fight streak. And the guy he beat in his last fight, Brendan Royval, he's pretty good, man. He was one to watch, and I think this was a fight to kind of maybe catapult his career a wee bit and put him into title contention. But Moreno just was all over him, easy. And because he looked so good, I think they just thought both fights that they had, obviously the same night, they were fairly quick, so they never came out with any injuries. So they just decided to fling another fight together while both of them were still in the US.
That's
so
quite crazy, isn't it, man?
I know.
And for it to be the fight, because I remember I watched it the other night, and to see them in that type of fight after just fighting a couple of weeks before, it's quite crazy, isn't it? You kind of think, like, is somebody going to get the advantage during a full camp, or is it just going to be like more of the same? You know what I mean? Aye, and then you've got like during that fight. This is where it kind of gets strange. So during that fight, right? So he get deducted a point, right? So I bring up the scorecards, right? Because I watched it and then I was thinking to myself, like, what was who gave who the points for what round and all that jazz, right? So basically, there was Moreno get an eye poke, right? Then they get the low blow, which was absolutely nasty. And then they get the point taken for the low blow, right?
Right.
So I was thinking to myself, so Figueiredo gets a point taken away from him. Something's got to give. Like there's got to be a round where I didn't think Moreno looked really good. He took a lot of takedowns. He was standing and banging with the guy. You know what I mean? There wasn't much to say. He was losing the fight in my eyes, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And then in the last round, he literally done nothing, pretty much. He had an injury, I think. Like he had a big, massive lump in his forearm. The commentators were talking about. Then after the fight, he said his forearm was fine, but he popped his shoulder. But during that last round, I don't remember doing much to win that round, right? But a judge gave him that last round, which gave the draw, which is quite strange in my eyes.
Aye. I don't really remember, right, but I thought, from memory, I thought it was Figgy, round 1 and 2, right, I take it you've watched the full fight, aye?
Aye.
The first 2 rounds were mental. Oh, it was crazy, man, he was trying to finish him for the full 2 rounds.
Aye.
Going balls to the wall, and you're thinking, like you said, something's going to give, he's going to gas here or whatever. And then there was obviously a few fouls that took place and a point deduction in round 3, but he still won round 3 in my opinion, right? So I'm thinking, so he's up 2 rounds. That's been a third round point deduction and a victory. So therefore, that's a 9-9 round, a draw. And then
everybody on the judges did good with that.
Aye, and then Moreno get round 2 and 3, 3 and 5, 4 and 5, sorry. Equating it to a draw. Am I right in saying that? Is that how it went?
So, like, obviously, it's like there can be a vast difference between these judges, man, as you see it. So, the first round went to Figueiredo. 2 judges went with Figueiredo, 1 went with Moreno.
Right.
The third round is exactly how you said it. So it's 9-9.
Yep.
And then the fourth, everybody went with Moreno. And then 2 went with Figueiredo for the last one. And then the last judge somehow gave the last round to Moreno, and I don't know how.
Bloody hell, man.
I don't know how. But but I would probably like Figueiredo looks like he's got the power advantage. I don't think he's got I think the two of them are, I don't know if they're equally fast, but the two of them are fast enough to catch each other.
Aye.
And I don't believe Moreno's got, I think he still hits pretty powerful as well, but I don't think he hits as hard as Figueiredo does.
Aye.
One thing I was impressed with was the amount of body lock takedowns he got against him. Moreno basically took him down whenever he wanted, really.
I don't even remember that, did he?
Aye, mate, but like for what I remember watching, it was just dumping them on the arse pretty much.
Aye, it's an interesting dynamic. Obviously, when your weight gets that low, it's obviously harder to finish people by strikes.
Aye.
But I think Figgy hits like he's a division or 2 above. He puts a lot more into his strikes. But Moreno's get more of a striking style that's he can coast through the full fight because he doesn't put that much into it. He's still got enough there. If he pieced something together, he'd probably finish you with strikes if they landed a good combination. But I think he's good to go over time. He's so tough, he can take a lot. He's got some ground game as well. But I think that's something that people are missing out because he's such a powerful puncher. Figgy's got a really fucking good jiu-jitsu game.
Is he?
But
you never seen much during the takedowns.
Exactly. That's a funny thing. But I think I might be wrong in saying this, but I'm pretty sure pretty much all of his UFC victories were by submission.
Aye. Let me
see.
I've got I should have some stats here. So he's got 8 submissions. There's no telling me exactly when he got the submissions, but so he's got 9 KO, TKO, and then he's got 8 submissions. So they're the majority. He's 20 wins he's got.
So like the fight you had before Moreno against Alex Perez. I don't know if you know Alex Perez. You've seen him fight before.
I know the name, but I would need to see his face.
I don't know what it is about him, right? But he kind of reminds me of like a Chad Mendes, like a small Chad Mendes. So he's a really strong wrestler, kind of bulky, tough guy, solid, heavy calf kicks. Come in, guns blazing. 2 minutes into the fight, there was some sort of scuffle. I think he landed a few powerful shots and then initiated a takedown in Figgy. And Figgy literally turned around like it was nobody's business and got him in a guillotine without even a bother. 2 minutes into the first round.
Aye,
and then obviously he fought twice before that. He fought wee Joe Benny. And he hurt him badly and submitted him both times, I'm sure.
I fought him basically 2 fights in a row, didn't he?
Aye, because he missed.
I think it was back to back.
Exactly, they fought for the title. Figgy won, but Figgy missed weight, so obviously he doesn't get the belt.
Aye.
So they rematched, and it was a pretty gruesome ending. If you've not seen
always
that.
Feel bad for wee Joe.
Same here, man. He was a really good fighter. It's just a shame he never captured the title.
Yeah, man. He's got a nice wife, but so I take it he wins in that.
He's got a belt
there. Going for picks.
Go for it. So, your turn to go first on this one, mate.
Right, so I've went with Moreno on this one. For what I've seen, like the body lock takedowns, right, and then there was nothing really coming for Figueiredo's side to even like. It just felt as if he needs to take him down, he's got it all day. Because like there was times where Figueiredo was landing like hard shots, right, and then he was just coming in, just grabbing him, and then just taking him down. It was like as if he'd never even get hurt, you know what I mean? But
Aye.
obviously he's taking the takedown because he might have got rattled, so he's taking him down, and then he's getting him down, and then there was just nothing happening for it. So I was thinking to myself, so if he can stand and trade with him when he gets rocky, put him on the ground, say you keep him down in a minute and a half on the ground, that minute and a half practically yours. That means it's your control, you're controlling, so you're going to get you've got a high probability of taking that round. One takedown is going to be able to get you that, and the control's going to get you that. So that's exactly why I went for Moreno on this one.
Interesting. I totally get where you're coming from. I think it's a really interesting fight, and it's a lot closer than people think it would be. My pick on this one. This is the first time we've disagreed. I've got a Figgy submission on this. And I think, like what you're saying there, I think the emphasis on the striking was far too much. I think that he was just putting so much into strikes to try and finish the fight. He thought that's what was going to do the job for him. And I don't know if you've seen some of the kind of videos. I think it might have been in one of the embeddeds. His coach said that he's been steering away and no practice in jiu-jitsu. So for this fight, he's went totally back to his roots. So I'm expecting to see another submission victory for him. That's what I've got.
And I think that's because of the body lock takedowns. Because I felt as if he was just taking them whenever he wanted them. So if he does do that, then I don't believe that Moreno's going to have a game, like a jiu-jitsu game, the same as Figueiredo will have.
Aye.
So that was decision and all. I forgot to mention that.
A decision.
And Figueiredo looks like a wee fucking arsehole. And Moreno's a good cunt. Do you know what I mean? So
that
was also a part of my decision.
You can't help but root for wee Moreno, man. What a cool wee guy.
Aye, but I've got something to pull him up a bit if I ever see him. But
what's that? Pops?
So, did you know what I'm talking about, didn't you, before you even say it?
No,
right, I'll say this, right, so, I don't know what episode Embedded was, maybe 1 or 2. So, like, he goes into his room and he's got all his collectibles and stuff, and there's Pops all, like, in a shelf stuff, right?
Aye.
And he's like, look at this one, it's cool now. He's like, but this is my favourite one, and he reaches into the cup. Aye, mate. I was fucking dealing.
Oh, quality.
I was like, what the fuck, man? Every single one it could be has to whip that one out.
It was so strange, mate, because I sat up in bed and turned around and looked at Sarah because I watched it in bed. And I watch Embedded in bed, mate, believe it or not. And we were watching an episode and it took him into his room.
Embedded in the bed.
And that's it, exactly. I'm embedded in my bed while watching Embedded. But she, we're watching it. And she watches it and all. She likes to see videos of build up. And they walked into his room and I said, look at all the kind of collectible he's got. And I said, there's a Freddie Mercury. And then 2 or 3 seconds later he went, this is my favourite. And it was a Freddie Mercury one he picked up. Chances of that.
Mate, it's nuts, isn't it? It is actually nuts. I was just like, what the fuck, man? What the fuck? Right, how you doing on that one? Be good with that one?
Good, happy
Anything
with
else
that.
You want to go through?
No, let's hit that main event up and see what's happening.
Alright, let's see where things get a bit spicy. I've got a wee bit extra for this one.
Right.
I happened to stumble across some other stats, and I was like, what the actual fuck? After I made my pick as well, I was like, whatever, man. And then I was looking, I was like, oh, well, maybe might not go as well as I think it's going to go. But let's see, right? So,
cool.
So it's Adesanya versus Vettori. Like, the pressure enough was fucking Vettori just seems like a fucking plum, doesn't he?
Aye.
He really does. I don't know if he's just getting over emotional or he's just trying to be a little bit more brash than usual. But I don't know, man. He just seemed like, some people would say, like, you get over emotional, you lose the fight before you even start it. That's kind of the feeling. That's the kind of vibe I'm getting. And Adesanya is literally probably one of the most relaxed people that you'll ever see. You know what I mean? In interviews, just sitting there laughing at him and he's screaming and fucking, you can see he's getting raging because he's fucking gone bright red, you know what I mean?
Aye.
So it's not just like put on emotion, I think.
Yeah.
I think he's maybe going to expend too much energy and everything in the lead up to it, which is then going to be the downfall in it, I think.
Yep, detrimental to the fight itself, just by this alone.
100%. 100%. Like Conor Jose Aldo, I don't think it's going to go to that degree because that was a whole different thing, but I think Adesanya is probably really good at getting under people's skin.
Aye. I get under my skin sometimes just with something daft things he says, so he's got that talent.
He's fucking definitely good at that.
Another thing he had is the fact that he's just given in his last victory, we'll put it that way, was against Paul Costa, and that was a massive rivalry. So he's used to this situation before. It's so fresh to him still. It's
100%.
Vittori's biggest fight. He's obviously, I think he's in a 5-fight win streak. And I don't even know if any of them are by stoppage. Maybe one.
I seen the latest person. Like nae him to the guy, right? Like the guy's a good fighter and that, but Kevin Holland, right? He beat Kevin Holland in his last fight.
Aye.
Marvin Vittori decision, and then you get a title shot. I know there's probably nobody kind of there to kind of fight.
Mm-hmm.
Adesanya the new, and you probably want to give him a fresh face, so it's not. It doesn't turn into pure fucking him fighting Robert Whittaker again straight away, or fighting I don't know who else the fuck. It just feels like well, can you give Till the fight? But Till's pretty far done.
You can't give him at the now, but I think it will happen eventually.
Like Vittori is obviously ranked number 3 right now.
Aye.
But having a fight, obviously the win streak counts, right? That goes towards obviously your chances of getting a title shot.
Mm-hmm.
But I just think taking a fight taking a win against Kevin Holland shouldn't get you a title fight.
Aye. But he's still in a 5-fight victory streak anyway, so he's still up there. And it was timing, obviously. It was offered to Whittaker first, and he wanted it at the end of the year. I think it was September, October. And as they said, they wanted to fight sooner. So this is why this is happening.
Well, I suppose if you take your chances in it.
Exactly.
As they did say that in the presser, but I didn't. I thought that was just fucking spout shit. You know?
No, that's the truth. That's
truth, right?
Aye.
Oh well.
But aye, it's a weird fight. I think you're right. You see him kind of getting riled up and getting a wee bit in people's faces and stuff. But I think this is just that main event, a big massive fight. Spotlight's on him. It's just got to him. I think.
And I think one of the things that kind of does his nut in as well is you can see when he's like trying to talk. Obviously, English is not his first language, right? And I absolutely respect anybody who can speak a second language, as well as half of the people can do UFC, whether they come from Brazil or whatever like that.
Right.
But I think he's getting frustrated with himself because he can't go back and forth with him. He can only say sort of like basic shit, where Adesanya can just fucking take the piss out of the way he speaks and all that. I think there's just a lot of different things at play. I think that's probably frustrating him as well because he was shouting at him in Italian in the presser. I think because he was like, I'll just start shouting at him in Italian, man.
You're right. I think it would be very frustrating if somebody's arguing with you and like you're saying it's not your first language and you can't get what you need to off your chest as quickly as you can.
Aye.
Because that's how you see him standing up and like, try to charge him and stuff like that and throwing his sunglasses away.
It'd be horrible, wouldn't it? It would be absolutely horrible. And the way you see if you're trying to get it out and then you're worried how it's going to come out and then you would be, oh man, the fucking amount of anxiety you would go through just trying to have a fucking argument with somebody on stage in front of hundreds of people. Like you get booed pretty much after the whole crowd. Everybody was shouting Izzy for a change. Usually it would be the other way about, but it was not.
Aye, it's an interesting one, isn't it? But I think the psychological battle is evident. It's shown. I'm looking forward to the fight, to be honest with you. It'll be interesting to see how it goes. I think Vittori, well, everybody they get better between fights. He's definitely better, but Izzy's much better as well. Obviously, he'd get the title since then. He's fought in a weight class above for that title. He's beat some really good guys, whereas Vittori, I think the biggest victory he's got is against Jack Hermanson. Well, he's amazing. He beat Jack, he nullified his game. But I just see the same thing, maybe a bit more erratic movement. He's still going to try and initiate grappling, mix it in with strikes. But I don't know. It's interesting. I'd be interested to see what the stats are in these ones.
Aye, definitely. So if you look, I'm just trying to see if I want to cover anything between it. Aye. So yeah, I've got to speak about the embedded situation. You've seen that, I take it.
Aye.
Where he comes up to him, he's like, "I'm coming for your belt." And he's like, "You've not got a Gucci belt in there or something?" He's like, "Nah," and he goes away. Right, and this is where the language barrier comes in, right? So he's walking away and he goes, "Nah, I'm coming for your belt, my friend." Right. So obviously that's something that you'll hear a lot of like foreigners saying, just because it's like just a way to so you know you're directing that to them. And then Adesanya turns around like a fucking 10-year-old wee boy and goes, "I'm not your friend." Like, he's no literally fucking saying you're his friend, but you've just got to be that absolute snide cunt that you can be sometimes and just fucking say that. That's, mate, I was so fucking snidey. And then see on the embedded after it, one of them was a wee bit dodgy in my eyes. He's like, he's walking away, he's fucking storming towards some fucking presser that he was doing, Vittori, and he's like, I'll fucking call you boy or bitch. And I was thinking, the boy one, you probably get a wee bit of fucking hate for that one.
You get a wee bit of
Bitch is
racial
alright.
backlash on that, possibly.
Obviously, that's the other language barrier coming out and play as well. So he's
Aye.
meaning just to say, like, you're a wee boy to me, pretty much. But he might not know about the fucking history of that word.
Aye.
Against that culture, you know what I mean?
I know.
I was a wee bit shocked he said it. A wee bit shocked that it was put into the video, but
Aye.
I don't know, man. That was a bit of a weird one.
Aye, for sure.
And then did you see the interview with Bisping done with the both of them as well?
Aye. It's hard to watch, man.
Bisping was trying to speak and he was like, hey, hi guys, hey, so, and they're just gone at each other and like, so you can watch them here. That was pretty funny, man. That was pretty funny.
It's funny because obviously watching Embedded, and Sarah wasn't really paying attention. She was on a phone, and she just heard Vittori saying in his weird accent, "I just can't wait to be the first Italian UFC champion." And she went, "He's Italian?" I was like, "Aye,
mate,
it looks Polish or something."
He doesn't sound. See when he's talking like the English, the English. What's it mean? The English. See when he's talking English, you don't think he's got like an Italian accent speaking English, if you know what I mean.
Aye.
It's like a weird kind of accent. He almost sounds like he's got an accent, but he must have picked up. I don't know, where did he stay in America?
Aye, he's lived in America for some years now, I think. Aye.
So I think he's probably picked up a bit of the accent, a bit like Mackenzie Dern, you know what I mean?
Aye. Mackenzie Dern, man, that's madness if you look at that situation, isn't it? Like, she
there's a video
she went to
that breaks
having
it
a
down.
fully, aye, it's mental. She had the full American accent, and then it turned to Portuguese American.
Oh
That's
man, it's so
good.
good. That pure broken.
Aye.
They miss it like certain words and all that. Aye, man, it's so good, man.
That's weird.
Fucking brilliant.
That's interesting.
Aye, definitely. Right, so we're getting into the stats now.
Go for it.
So, landed per minute. Obviously, you're going to assume that fucking Adesanya's got the advantage in that one, but it's not as much as you think. You're looking maybe less than 1 point between them, so 3.95 and 4.78. You know what I mean? So there's not much difference.
Yep.
The 6 strikes between the two, so Adesanya is landing better strikes, by only 4% though.
Right.
The zob per minute, Vittori is higher, so you look again. It's close, so 2.63 to 3.19.
Right.
And then this is where I happened to come across this wee stat, right? So you've got your significant strike defense, right?
Yep.
So Marvin Vittori is the best in that division, right? With a 66.2%, right?
Right.
But and number 2 is Israel Adesanya with a 65.2. So there's not even much in between that either.
Aye.
So when I started to look at this, I thought this was, the way I looked at this at first was like Adesanya is just going to like smoke him pretty much.
Aye. Yep.
And then as I started looking at the stats, I was like, do you know what? This could end up being a lot closer than I'm assuming that it's going to be, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting.
It's definitely quite strange. And then if you look at the grappling, on Adesanya's side, right, I don't think he's ever attempted a takedown.
I was going to say, aye.
Zero.
Aye.
Vittori's takedown average is 1.33 per 15 minute. Takedown accuracy is 45%.
Right.
Takedown defense on Adesanya's side is 82%.
Oft.
Takedown defense on Vittori's side 78%.
Right. I don't think he has to worry about being taken down, but Izzy's obviously going to have to be cautious of that.
Aye. But is he going to be cautious of that though? Is he just going to just be his normal self?
I think he'll just be his normal self because he's naturally good at sprawling and springing back to his feet like a cat.
Right.
So if he can count on that being the case, but at the same time, obviously you're going to have to. I've seen him in his training videos. He's drilling a lot of kind of cage or wall work, so he's obviously expecting to be grinded.
You seen that on the embedded in the last 1 minute?
Oh, was it? I've just seen it, and him and his brother have uploaded.
I believe it embedded.
Aye, Izzy's got a YouTube channel, and his brother's been like uploading videos. Aye.
His brother was in the embedded and all.
Oh, was he? The big David. His name's David.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure he said he was cutting weight for lightweight division or something like that. Which was a pretty good
featherweight or something.
Aye. There was something I wanted to bring up in terms of this fight, and let me try and find it here. What was it again? Let's just move on, and then I'll bring it into play. Okay. If I can remember exactly what it was.
So, what are we just moving on to our picks on this then?
Unless you want to add anything else into it.
No, I mean, pretty much everything you've said with the stats and what you're covering your thoughts and stuff, I agree with. He's just going to try and copy the same style of fight they had the last time around, obviously be a bit more successful like he did in the last round.
Aye.
Same idea that Jan done to beat him, but it's a different game altogether. I
Aye,
think.
that was the question I was going to ask you.
Right, okay. So I think that he's going to try the same thing. He's going to be more grappling heavy, but he's obviously going to try and throw bombs. I think Izzy's just going to be his usual self, cutting angles, setting traps, a variety of kicking combinations, leg kicks. He sets a lot of traps, which is quite interesting. But I don't know if Vettori seems to bite a lot on his feints.
Aye.
So I don't know. For my opinion, right, I'll just give him a pick. I think he's going to be too emotional. He's going to be too herky jerky. He's going to bite on a lot of feints, and he's going to get finished in the first or second round by TKO KO. So I've got Izzy by KO TKO in round 1 or 2.
I've got Izzy by KO as well.
Have you?
I've not picked a round, which I probably could have done, but I never done that. I made this before I looked at the stats, right? So I was thinking this fight could be a lot closer than I do expect it to be, but you just can't bet against Adesanya, really, can you?
It's hard to, especially when you're in his natural weight class. He's looked amazing there, pretty much.
Aye.
Now, a lot of people say this was a close fight, but
aye. The one thing I was going to say, like, obviously he moved up to 205, right, to fight for the title. He did get beat, right? So obviously somebody who's on a tear gets beat. So do you think if he get beat for the middleweight title, rather than moving up and getting beat, would have a much more impact? And so he's went up to do a fight, right, for a title.
Yep.
Which he probably thought, I'm just going up to fight for a title. I'm fighting a bigger guy. I probably could win, right? He's probably, in his mind, he's probably thinking he's going to win, right? Every fighter does, he wouldn't take the fight. But do you think it's not going to affect him as much? Because he went up and got beat off a heavier guy for another title, but never actually lost his title. So he's still like the king of the middleweight, but he went up to middleweight, up to light heavyweight, got beat, but it's not going to affect him as much as a middleweight defeat, if you know what I mean.
Aye, I think so. My opinion is I think that was just a case of I can go and give this a bash, earn a good bit of money, and possibly enter that place of a double champ, 2 weight classes, which is obviously it's like a VIP area. There's not a lot of people who've done it before. He's already a star, but the reward is high in that fight, and the risk was very low. So he lost, but at the same time, I guarantee you mentally he's still undefeated. He doesn't count that as a loss.
Aye. Even though he did lose, but he probably gained a lot for that fight. Money, notoriety, fame, a lot of different shit. So I get 2 conflicting bit of information here, right? On the UFC website. So at first I seen Vettori's takedown accuracy to be 45%, right? You assume, but if you think about a takedown, right? 45% accuracy is you're getting less than 1 for every 2 you put in, right? But then I happened to stumble across another figure that told me that he's number 1 for takedown accuracy, which is 53.7%.
Is he?
Aye. And I thought, when you think of people that excel in certain parts of the game, you're going to always assume that their takedown accuracy or their punching accuracy, you're going to assume that it's a higher percentage. But if you think about takedowns, it's obviously if you're fighting George St. Pierre, man, he's just probably going to take you doing it well, but that's probably the only person that's going to do that. You know what I mean? There's only got maybe 5 or 6 fighters that will take you down. There's just no way you can stop it. So having a 53%, I don't think it's obviously the best in the division, right? So it is a good number, but it doesn't seem like a good number if you just look at stats on paper, if you know.
Aye, the overall thing, but if you look at the finite details, it's really good.
Aye.
Aye, on you go.
And then you've got like I said the other day, they've got that judge kicked off the fight that gave Vettori the last round.
Aye.
Was it the last round that he gave him?
Yeah, 3rd round, aye. Well, no, in fact, the judge gave him the fight. He put it in Vettori's favour the entire fight.
Aye. So he gave him the first 2 judges here gave Adesanya the 1st and 2nd round, and then all the judges went with Vettori in the last round, which I can understand because he took him down and done what he done. But one judge gave Vettori the 1st round, and that's the judge who's been kicked off the judging panel for the fight. Now, this is there's every way you look at something, there's always two different ways you look at it. One is hopefully you're going to get a better result. You're going to get people that should agree. Like, so you've got 3 judges, right? So if you're getting 2 judges out of 3 that score it the same, that's most likely the result, right? But obviously, that's what it should be. But if you're getting like another judge that comes into play that scored it different for the other 2, then there's obviously something wrong, in a sense, you know what I'm talking about? So, if you get rid of that judge who's had questionable decisions, you assume that it's going to be for the better. But then does that create, like, favouritism for fights? So, like, if you've got a judge who's made some dodgy calls against you, you don't want him in your fight. You don't want him judging your fight, so because you're the champ, you get away with telling people that. Like, you don't want that guy judging your fights.
Aye.
But so, like, is he not judging the fight in your favour because your style? You know what I'm saying? So, like, kicking him off, I don't know, it doesn't feel right to me. I don't think they should have the power. Like, it was coach Eugene, and another guy put a complaint in against it, and then got him actually removed for the fight.
It's interesting.
I think that's a bit crazy. I think it creates a dynamic where that causes a lot of problems for future fights, especially title fights. Like, this is a second fight, so if Vittori wins this, then you're going to have a third fight, right? So this fight is like I don't know, man, it's got the makings to be like a trilogy fight. Like, probably they might be the only trilogy fight that he's going to get apart from Robert Whittaker, right? So, like, there's been amazing trilogy fights of the year, so I don't really know where I'm going with it. I think I'm just rambling to the point of rambling right now. But I don't think it creates a good place if you start kicking judges ass.
It's weird, man. You wouldn't expect him to have... Like, the judges are assigned to a fight by the Athletic Commission, not the UFC.
Aye.
So you wouldn't think that it would even be granted the power in order to be doing that unless there was grounds to do it.
Aye.
It's a weird one. I don't know if they should start dicking about with that stuff, but a lot of the time the judges are full of shite anyway, so I'm all in favour of a whole different scoring system or differently trained judges, like ex-fighters or something coming into it at some point if they can do that. But it's weird to be pulling that judge card out like so close to the fight and making changes to it.
Aye, because like, just say for instance, right, that every fight that you've done, you've had, say, 2 judges at the 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they've gave you like the nod, so they believe the work you're doing is greater than the work of your opponents. So say you can pick, you can handpick your judges for your fight. You're always going to pick the people who put it in your favour, aren't you? Because you're going to assume that the work that you're doing is like the best in the fight. You know what I mean? So I don't think it's obviously he's no picked a third judge, but he got one kicked half. So I don't know. It's a bit weird.
It isn't half. It's interesting.
If it was a backstory to it, that he hated him or something, or they found grounds for it, but just because he scored a round in somebody's favour, you know what I mean? It's like, it's a bit strange for me.
Aye.
No, I mean,
each to their own. I think obviously he's trying to take out every element that could go against them. But,
aye.
I mean, I don't think
and
he
it's
needs to do that.
A mind game and on it.
Aye, it will be. But it's interesting that we agreed on pretty much everything other than the Figueiredo Moreno fight, innit?
Aye. And I think I've fucking done a boo-boo with that one, but I'm sticking by it.
Go for it. Go
100%, man. Aye, man, 100%.
As I said to you before we went ahead with this, there was another fight. I know we just went with the main.
Aye, you wanted to put some spotlight on something, didn't you?
Aye, so the last fight of the prelims, Drew Dober versus Brad Riddell. So both of them are really striking heavy fighters. Dober's he's been about for a while. He's a decently known name. His last fight was against Islam. He was absolutely murdered in that by grappling as usual. But Islam is a different animal when it comes to that side of things. Dober's a southpaw primarily. He's a striker and he hits really hard. He's got good punches. He's got a really, really good left hand. He's a southpaw. Interesting. He's got good kind of stalking style. And Riddell's obviously, if you know him, he's one of his training partners. And he's been Thai boxing since he was a bairn.
Nice.
He's had like his Thai record. He's got like 60 victories or something like that. He's only fought 3 times in the UFC. Three wins, 2 decisions, and 1 split decision. But the stand-up exchanges that he's had in his fights, he looked absolutely terrifying. but fighters have always initiated grappling. Even he has himself just to kind of win rounds, but a lot of the time people are trying to get into grappling exchanges to take rounds for him. But I think this is although it's an unbelievable card, I think this has got the possibility of being one of the fights, a great one.
Aye, I've just pulled up the card on the BBC website, mate. Aye, the BBC website, mate. I've just cracked on there, mate. Fuck me, man. Aye, the UFC website. So I'm just having a look, mate. That guy has got an American dad job, if I've ever seen one. That Drew Dober on this picture.
That's a belter. That is a belter,
mate.
man.
Do you know? I was watching the RDA fight and Leon Edwards fight, and Dominic Cruz was on the commentators talking about it. And I can't remember the words they said, right, but it was along the lines of this, is like RDA has got a strong beard in terms of a strong chin, and I couldn't still fucking laughing. I thought that using that as like a way to describe his chin, I thought it was fucking class, man. Aye, man, he's got some beard on him, but something like that. I'll get the words and I'll tell you, man, but I was absolutely buzzing, mate, man. It was so good. Do you want me to run through the stats? I've got the stats up for this fight if you want me to run through them.
If you've got them there, go for it, aye.
Fine. I mean, I'm gonna test you and see what you think would be basically the higher percentage or the lower percentage, depending on what would be the best in that category, right? So, if we start with the SIG strikes first, right? So if we go landed per minute, who do you think has got a bit like a higher volume of strikes?
Probably go with Brad because he's only had 3 fights.
Aye. So it's going to get 6.7, 6.07, and then Dober's got 4.33. So if you think a higher volume of significant strikes,
Brad again.
Nice. So it's 59% to 40.
Right.
And then you're probably going to get this one as well if you're going by the timeline here. So absorb per minute.
Dober.
He's got a higher. So he's 3.87 compared to Brad Riddle. Was it Riddell? Riddell?
Aye, Riddell.
2.4. So obviously his tenure in UFC has probably got him a lower absorption rate of fucking strikes to the dome, right?
Aye.
And you've got defense, right? But I don't really like obviously striking defense, right? So, but it's who would you think has got the higher percentage of the striking defense?
I'd say the more defensive fighter of the two, probably Dober.
Aye. So it might be due to obviously his length of time, but Dober's got 54, and then Brad's got 62. Then if you go to the grappling, there is opposite ends of the spectrums on one of these, right? So if you go down to, so we're just thinking the takedown average, right?
Right.
So if we go down, you probably get this straight away. The takedown accuracy.
In favour of Dober.
Well, this is where it gets a bit nuts. So Dober's takedown accuracy is 17%, right? And Brad Riddle's is 100%. So what? I don't know. So you might have only took one person down and go to the fucking thing, or you never know. Obviously, with it being such a short stint in the UFC, right?
That's very true.
And then you've got takedown defense. So who do you think has got higher out of the two of them?
Dober.
Nah, so Dober's got 55%, and then you've got Brad with 80%.
Bloody hell.
Aye. So see if you just went along the way they were doing it at first. Like going with like how long has he been in the UFC?
Time spent.
We'd have probably smashed him,
Aye. I just thought with obviously the time spent thing, I think there was other parts of it that I maybe looked the other way, expecting it to go the other way, but
his surname, his fucking nickname is Quake. What the fuck?
Aye, Brad Quake Riddell. Aye, I like him. I quite like him.
Aye.
See when we finish up here, go on to jump onto the Fight Pass and watch him versus Jamie Malarkey. It is wild. 15-minute fight and it is wild, mate. Just watch the full thing, right?
I remember that Malarkey name.
Aye, I think he's had 3 fights. He lost his first 2, and his last fight he beat Karma Worthy by KO in like a minute and a half. He's pretty tough. You'll see it in that fight, man. He's tough as they come. Fuck's sake, he takes a lot of damage.
Aye, man. I'll definitely have a swatch of that.
No, that was good catch up, man. Aye.
But it was definitely. I think it's went on for maybe 2 hours.
Aye, about 2, I would say.
I think so. Aye. So, anything else you want to do before we wrap it up?
No, in terms of the card, I'm happy with what we've covered. Looking forward to it.
Aye. 100%. It should be good, man. See the build. Like this always happens to me, right? UFC's coming up, and I go, cool. Then Embedded starts, and then you just start getting a wee bit more invested, man. And by the time it comes, you're like, oh man, I'm fucking buzzing for this.
Aye.
It always happens that way, man. Aye, man. And then like, it's been pretty a while, but like you've had Paul Craig and that Jamal Hill basically squaring up to each other. You've had fucking Marvin Vittori and Adesanya getting at each other all the time. Usually it's only like one person you see, two people arguing with each other, but there's a lot of stories going on with this one.
Aye, there's a lot of focus on it, man. It's a huge card when you think about it. The amount of names that are on it. The fact that like fucking Diaz is not even the main or co-main. And not even just Diaz with his name, but against Leon and all, somebody who's so highly ranked and doing so well. It's just that's not even the main or co-main. There's 2 titles on the line. Brilliant, man. Absolutely buzzing for it.
Somebody was saying that Leon is the biggest in terms of like the favourite.
Aye.
So they were saying they've got somebody who's like that much of a favourite that are not even like part of the co-main or the main event. It's just quite strange.
Aye. I was going to actually say that, by the way, because I'd put all the odds down on the kind of notes I'd taken, but I didn't really put much down other than the fighters, the odds, wee bits and pieces about them, and then my picks on each of them. And I took all the odds apart from the main event, and the biggest odd I've got is Leon Edwards. He's 1-6, 61 favourite. I don't know how you put it, 1-6.
Aye, 1-6. Aye.
He's a 1-6 favourite.
And is Diaz 41?
Aye.
Damn, man. So do you want to run through the betting odds if you've got them there for the main card?
Aye. So Paul Craig is 12-5. Hill is obviously a 1-3 favourite. Maya's the underdog, 74. Muhammad is 49. Leon Edwards, big favourite, 1-6. Diaz underdog at 41. Figueiredo is favourite at 49. Moreno is underdog at 74. And then the main event, I don't have the odds on that, but I think it's.
Adesanya favourite, isn't it?
Aye, I think he's like 1-3, something like that.
Yeah, aye. Definitely.
Don't know if it's that big. Let's see.
There's a fake Tyron Woodley fighting on this, and Darren Stewart, man. He looks like a pure budget Woodley.
I like him, man. He's cool.
He looks like a budget Woodley, what, didn't he?
Aye. So Izzy's 4-11 and Vittori's 2-1.
Still pretty big, innit?
Aye.
I thought he might have been like fucking 1-3 or something like 47, aye. So that's pretty much
4-11.
It's not 1-2, man, is it really? But it's kind of 1-2.
Aye.
Do you know what? I think it's going to be a closer fight than I get.
Aye. It's
the
definitely
time for it,
it's possible, no doubt about it.
Yeah, definitely.
It's pretty well matched, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
But
usual times, isn't it? Usual times, 3 o'clock in the morning.
3 o'clock main kick-off, aye.
Always wish, man. See, when you check it and you go, it's like 2 or 1, you're like, fucking yes.
It's never going to be that anymore, but with the bigger ones, it's always going to be the late ones, defo.
Oh, definitely not. So where do you go? So if you want to say this, right?
Yeah.
On the main card, if you could predict a fight of the night, what one would you say it would be?
In the main only?
Just the main only,
aye. Figgy Moreno, maybe.
Aye, I would lean towards maybe Leon and Nate Diaz.
That's definitely got it. That's
but I think the two of them are probably going to be the crazier fights.
Aye.
Looking at the first fight,
I'd say so.
They two, Figueiredo and Moreno. But having Diaz on a fight, it's always war, isn't it?
Aye. There'll be people tuning in just to see how that goes.
Aye. So we golden? We good to go?
Good to go, mate, unless there's anything else you wanted to add in.
No, the only thing I really want to add in is if you've listened to this whole podcast and actually enjoyed it, then there must be something mentally wrong with you. That's all I can add to that. It was good to spit it out. The start was a bit shaky, man, but
get there.
I enjoyed it, man. Definitely, I enjoyed it.
It's new to both of us. It's not coming that naturally. We'll get there, but I enjoyed it. I hope you did as well.
I did. It took me a wee while to get into it, man.
Aye.
At the start, man, like TV, it's like just like go time. You're just like, this is it. But I think when you get into it, we're good.
Yeah. Aye, you settle after the first few minutes.
Aye, therefore. I think the start will always be shaky, but I think now will disappear quite fast.
Aye, once we start getting into them, I think it'll go.
Aye, definitely.
As
Do you want me?
Davey said, if MD's, sorry to cut you off there, mate, but if MD's listening, if MD's actually picked this up and had a wee, even if you skip through it and just listened to the picks and had a laugh at some of the shite we spoke about, let us know. Give us a comment, give us a like. We're on Twitter. It's Richie, so it's RICHIE versus Davey, which is DAVEY podcast. You can find us just under Richie versus Davey. Same again, Instagram, Richie versus Davey podcast or Richie versus Davey. And we'll be pretty much everywhere else and going. So if MD actually does listen, give us a shout. Let us know how you found it.
Let us know how bad we've done.
Aye. Let us know so we can grow.
Aye, any feedback's good feedback at the end of the day, even if somebody's shitting on you, man.
I'll take it.
Just don't do it too hard, you know what I mean? I'm a bit of a snowflake. Right, peace out, troops.
Alright. Cheers, mate.